Here we go. Second game of the day, and we are on. Hey guys, how you going? So down BKRsport, we are live as the Cronulla Sharks will be taking on the Redcliffe Dolphins in what, look, it's going to be interesting because it's really difficult to get a read about how these two teams are. The Dolphins, they are 1-1. The Sharkies, they are 1-1. The only team that these two teams have actually beaten has been the same team, which is the Gold Coast Titans, which you're obviously not surprised with there. The Titans are 0-2 and just unfortunately looking very similar to recently. So it's nothing too crash hot in regards to looking at what these two teams have done so far this season, except for the fact that obviously you go back to that first week for the Dolphins and they had a loss, and that was to the South Sydney Rabbitohs, who play later on tonight against the Tigers, but they lost 40 points to 32 against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. And the Sharkies, on the other hand, they obviously took on the red hot Penrith Panthers last week, and the Panthers ran through them 26 points to 6, and the Sharkies are meant to obviously be a much better team this year. They're meant to be pushing through with the positivity these last couple of years have given them, but unfortunately it's just looking very similar scenes and same old at Cronulla as we currently speak. So they need to do a lot to prove to us that they are going to be an adjusted team, a changed team for the better, and they're going to start to actually make some progress into beating the big-time teams. And this isn't necessarily a game that you look at and go, well, this is a big-time team that's going to prove us a lot about the Sharks, because the Dolphins have not been good so far this season. Even in their win last week against the Titans, for 60 minutes of that game, they looked absolutely abhorrent, and they were just really lucky that they were taking on a Titans team that just doesn't know how to win, because the Dolphins came home strong in the end. But look at how the Titans are. The team that they played really gave them every opportunity to come back into it, despite the fact that they just didn't look good at all, the Dolphins. But, at the end of the day, this is a brand new day, and at least they've got that win on the board, so hopefully they can continue on and put a better effort across the game this week, because if they come in and play like they did last week, the Dolphins, the Sharks will put past them. So they need to really wake up and take some positives out of the defense they showed last week, despite the fact the Titans don't really have an attack right now with no JC, and they've been really struggling to early doors to get on the same wavelength in regards to the attack. The Dolphins did show a lot better defense last week than they have shown in recent years, where they love to score 40, 30 points, but they also love to concede 40 to 30 points. That's what this Dolphins team is. So let's go through these two team lineups. It's 13 minutes to go until the game does start here. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. You guys have been showing major support for the channel this year so far. Appreciate it, and we keep on keeping on. Oh, I might have just knocked my microphone out. Let me just make sure that this is still going. No, okay, sweet. All right, let's get into these two team lineups. So the Sharkies, they come into this game from 7th position, and the Dolphins come into this game from 9th position. And this is at Sharky Park, Ocean Protect Stadium in Sydney. Now, the ins for the Sharks, you've got Mweni Hiroti and Teague Wilton, with the outs being Chris Vieira and Hohepa Peru. The fullback is William Candy, with the wingers being Sione Katoa and Samuel Stonestreet, centers of Jesse Ramian and Kale Iro. The 5'8" is Braden Trindle, with the halfback being Nico Hines. Front row forwards of Aden Fanua-Blake and Thomas Hazelton, with the number 9 being Blake Brayley, who was the captain. The back row is Britton Nakora and Billy Burns, with the 13 being Jesse Colhoun. And the interchange of Siasif Talakai, Toby Rudolph, Oregon Kafusi, Braden Ueli, Mweni Hiroti, and Teague Wilton. And the coach is Craig Fitzgibbon. Gee whiz, Shane Flanagan going back to the 2016 time. Craig Fitzgibbon is the coach. Sharkies, look, coming into this game, again, they've got a really, really well-rounded roster, but it just doesn't necessarily pan out for them. I need to see them start proving the names on paper actually mean something at the moment, because they've got such incredible names on paper. Trindle and Hines, they are representative level, and whether it be Indigenous versus Māori representative, regardless, representative level, Nico Hines has won a Dally M before, and also has played in Origin before. Obviously wasn't too great in it, but the point is that these guys have played some rep footy. The fullback, William Kennedy, he was top of the Dally M's a good halfway through the season last year before fell off the edge of a cliff, and was a real big detractor in a lot of their games in the second half of the season, especially that prelim final against the Melbourne Storm, but still can be a fantastic player on his day, and is a solid enough fullback. He's only here for 1 year, and they're just really unlucky Liam Eison's been injured, because he'd be knocking on the door right now. I do think that they're going to start to look towards a fullback, and look, if AJ didn't necessarily work out at the Gold Coast, I wouldn't necessarily say that they wouldn't try and take his contract and bring him in as a fullback, considering that the Gold Coast do want to maintain Keanu Kinney as their fullback, and if AJ doesn't work out in the 6 and he wants to play in the spine and demands to play in the spine, well, I don't think the Sharks are a bad option for him to potentially think that way. Not that I think that's a likely option, but I do think it's an option potentially for Cronulla to try and get that contract offer for the Gold Coast there, so that they have that fullback, which is a big issue for them. I think that would really help them out greatly. To be completely honest with you, their wingers, Sione Katoa, international. Stone Street, he's solid enough. Obviously, Mulatalo is an international, but he is injured right now for the majority of the season. That is a big loss for them. But Jesse Ramian, representative level, and Kale Ero, international. I know for the Cook Islands, but Kale Ero is a fantastic player. So their 1 through 7 is strong on paper. And then their forwards, Adfanor Blake, international, probably Origin this year for New South Wales. Blake Brayley, he's been knocking on the door of a New South Wales gig for a while now. I genuinely believe that they should go down his path. I like him as... I would like to see him as the hooker for New South Wales. Hazleton, solid enough. Britton Nakora, international, probably plays for Queensland this year. Billy Burns has been amazing for the Sharkies, and Jesse Colquhoun is, solid. And then they've got, a great bench. Overall, the Sharks don't make sense in regards to why they can't compete at a high level on a more consistent level. I just don't understand it. And there obviously is questions that are arising from the back of the fact that they get to the prelim, and that's a very successful season. But they need to go and win the comp now. They need to make the grand final. They need to progress. You don't just want to play to make a prelim. You want to play to win a competition, and they need to show us that they can progress past that preliminary final right now. Now, the Dolphins, on the other hand, Sebastian Sewer comes in, Thomas Flegler goes out. The fullback is Hamiso Tabuai-Fado, with the wingers being Jermaine Asako and Selwyn Cobbo. Centers of Jake Averillo and Herbie Farnworth. The 5'8" is Cody Nikorima, with the halfback being Isaiah Katoa, who is the captain. Front row forwards of Tom Gilbert and Felice Kafusi, with the number 9, Max Plath. Back row, Kaneli Lemielu, Kulikefu Funifuiaki, and then the 13 is Morgan Knowles. Interchange of Bradley Schneider, Oren Keeley, Ray Stone, Trey Fuller, Sebastian Sewer, and Brian Puniu. The coach is Christian Wolf. The Dolphins, they just need to keep showing us good defense. It's just as simple as that. We know that they can attack. Not that they attacked really that well last week, so the Titans did show at least a bit of defensive resolve last week, which is what we are seeing the club trying to adjust towards and being a more defensive unit, the Titans, even though they did get pumped by the Sharkies team the week prior. Down there in Cronulla. But the point is the Dolphins did actually struggle on the attack, and they just made so many errors last week, a ridiculous amount of errors, which is why they were as poor as they were. And they just weren't able to have that free-flowing attack as they normally would. So when their attack is absolutely on and firing, they can score 40, 50, even 60 damn well points. But when it's not firing, like they struggle to get over the line against the Titans, and their defense is usually not going to be the one that helps them out, but last week their defense actually did help them out. They're a confusing team, the Dolphins. You know they're not good defensively. You know they're good attacking-wise, but last week went completely against that. So I don't even know how to read them right now. Look, I am tipping the Sharkies in this game. They're at home. They are infamous for winning these kind of matchups and then, just getting pumped when they go up against the bigger time teams. But the Dolphins will give them a scare. I do feel like the Dolphins will be up for at least a match here. Could there be a world this is a Sharks 13 plus? Yeah, but I do think the Dolphins have enough in them to make this a game. The last time these two teams played, the Dolphins were at their red-hot finest at mid to back end of last season. And the Sharkies were a bit out of form, and the Sharks won, I think, 24-12 in the end and beat them over. I think that was down there in Cronulla as well. So the last time these two teams played, the Sharkies did get the job done, and overall they just are a more... They are a more collective unit right now in regards to the progress of the two teams on a separate level. So that's why we'll link with the Sharks. But I definitely do think the Dolphins have a chance in this game. There's no way to say that they don't. But this is a must-win here for Cronulla. You can't start your season off with a 50-point drubbing of the Titans and then go and lose 26-6 to the Panthers and then go and lose to the Dolphins before you take on a Raiders team that are also struggling right now. They're 1-2 down there in Canberra. That would be just such an interesting game to see. Both teams being 1-2, both teams predicted relatively high on the ladder this year, and yet it would be two 1-2 teams playing in Canberra. You don't want to have to rely upon that, and then if you're not relying upon that, if you were to lose that game, you then take on the Warriors, who are looking fantastic right now, 3-0, top of the table. You take on them at Sharky Park, and then you take on the Roosters, who don't look great. It's over in Perth. You take on the Roosters, who don't look fantastic at all, but are expected to grow into the season, are expected to look better long-term into this season. So this is not an easy first 7 rounds. You get the bye, luckily, at round 7, where you can rejig things and think about your positives and negatives through the first 5 to 7 rounds. Great time for a bye. But this is a bit of a must-win here for Cronulla, because the next 3 games are no easy feats. They just simply aren't. The Raiders will not be easy in Canberra. Warriors definitely won't be easy at Shark Park, and the Roosters definitely won't be easy over there in Perth. So for mine, the Sharkies must win this game today. If you don't, you're going to be in a real rough place early in the season. Again, you can change it around. There is a long way to go. Even after this round, there is still 25 rounds to go. 24 rounds to go after this finishes up. So there's still plenty of time, but you don't want to be putting yourself into a place where you're having to fight for your season, like a 10 rounds in kind of deal, especially when you have that tough 3 weeks coming up after this. Now, for the Dolphins on the other side, obviously, this isn't necessarily, well, like it kind of is. It's not necessarily a must-win in a lot of ways, but a win would go a long way to getting them back into the fight of the season. But they play the Broncos next week at Suncorp. You don't want to have to rely upon that. Manly at home, you would be expecting to win that with what we've seen from Manly so far, but we'll see how they come out after the bye against the Roosters next week. Then the Dolphins will have the bye, and then they have a really difficult run. Like, they get slaughtered on a run. So after their round 6 bye, they play the Panthers at home. They play the Panthers in Darwin. Then they play the Warriors in Wellington, the Storm at Suncorp Stadium for Magic Round, not Magic Round. They play the Storm at Suncorp Stadium, and then they play the Bulldogs at Suncorp Stadium. So that is just a ridiculous run. That is a ridiculous run. From round 7 to 10, you take on the Panthers, the Warriors, the Storm, and the Bulldogs. Luckily, 3 of those 4 games are at home at Suncorp Stadium, and then right after that is Magic Round against the Rabbitohs at Suncorp Stadium. But that is so tough. So realistically, this is actually, these next few weeks, you definitely should be taking at least 2 out of your next 3 before you go into that round 6 bye, because that is so tough after round 6. I think that you need to win 2 out of 3. So if you lose today, it just means that you realistically have to beat the Broncos next week and then Manly the week after. If you win today, you'd only need to pick up 1 of those 2. But if you don't win at least 2 there, you'll be looking quite disastrous from these first 5 rounds for mine, and especially with the fact that you then take on the Panthers, the Warriors, the Storm, and the Bulldogs, and the Rabbitohs right after are not easy, and the Raiders right after are not easy. That period from your first bye to your second bye, so tough. Panthers at home, Warriors away, Storm at home, Bulldogs at home, Rabbitohs away, home, it's Suncorp Stadium Magic Round, and then Raiders away. It's a tough run. It's a very, very tough run. So pick up at least 2 more wins here. You would be 3 and 3 from your first 7 rounds. That's the case with the bye. But if you were to pick up 2, then you'd be 3 and 2 from the first 5 rounds, and you'll take that as a success, especially considering your first game against the Rabbitohs. And you'd be happy with a 3 and 2 start realistically, especially pre-season. Sharkies were expected to be high. Broncos were the grand final winners last year. Not that they've looked any good. Last night they did look pretty good though in the second half against the Storm, so it looked like they're trying at least to get back to their best. They did look a lot better without Adam Reynolds. I will not lie. First half was awful, but the second half was good. So maybe Ben Hunt just simply is the option there in that 7 to quicken the team up a little bit more than what Renault has been doing. But yeah, this game is up in the air. I will take the Sharks. I'm a bit more convinced on them. But is there a world the Dolphins win? Absolutely there is. There is a world. Now, in regards to the ladder, again, it's only round 3, guys. So just take this for what it is. Even if you're a Warriors fan, you're not winning the comp necessarily because you're on top of the table. Let's see, go against the Panthers and the Storm and whatnot, and the Bulldogs. But when you're looking at the table, you're not winning the comp by being first after round 3, and you're not coming last after being last after round 3. It's just not how it works. Dragons are usually March premiers, and obviously usually finish outside of the top 8. So that's why you take it with a grain of salt, but you get a good vibe and you get a good opinion about it regardless. So for the Sharks, they're on 2 points right now. They've got the best points differential out of those teams on 2 points. They've got a plus 20 points differential. If they were to win this game, they would immediately go above the Knights into 6th position. And then the Tigers are on 28. They play the Rabbitohs later on today. But if the Tigers lose and the Sharkies win, there's just an 8-point separator there. So they would go probably into 5th position. And then you've got the Storm in 4th position. But they're plus 70. So you would have to win this game by 50 points or more to go above the Melbourne Storm into 4th position. But if you won this game and the Tigers lost, no matter what, really, you would be situating yourself into 5th position there. But the Rabbitohs are right below you. And I guess if there's a big enough result for them, they could still jump you. It's an 18-point separator. You're on 20. They're on 2 on the points differential. So I guess there is a chance. There is a shout. Rabbitohs could still finish above them, even with both teams winning. But either way, with a win, you'd be situated either in 5th or in 6th position, more than likely 5th. If they were to lose this game here, the Sharks, Rabbitohs, if they lose by 18 points or more, they go below the Rabbitohs, the Dolphins would jump them too because they're on 2 points. So they'd go down into 9th position. Manly have already had their bye. You would have to lose by 41 points or more to go below Manly. Broncos have already played. Rays have already played. Eels would jump above you. They're on 2 points. So you would go down to 9th position, 10th position. And Roosters have already played. So you go down to 10th position there, but the highest you'd be looking towards is that 5-6. And then on the other side, the Dolphins, they're in a pretty similar situation. If they were to win, they're -6 though, so they would need a bit of a turnaround to go above the Tigers there on the 4 points on +28. They need a decent enough turnaround. I don't see that happening. Realistically, you'd be putting them into 6th position. They would need to win by 10 points or more to go above the Knights on +4. They would need to win by 10 points or more to go above Newcastle into 6th position. But if they were to lose this game here, and also they have to hope the Rabbitohs do lose as well, but if they were to lose this game, then they would have to lose by 15 points or more to go below Manly into 10th position. They'd have to lose by 24 points or more to go below the Broncos into 11th position. If they would have to lose by about 32 points to go below the Raiders into 12th, and then hope the Eels don't win, because if the Eels win, they would go into 13th. And they would have to lose by a dead set 50-odd points to go below the Roosters. So that's the ladder there, guys. Again, early in the season, who cares? But it's just to get a bit of a read for it. Obviously, hit that like button, subscribe. I'm taking the Sharkies. And let's hopefully see a good game here today. The Dolphins will kick it off. And Sharkies receive the ball. And they're going to bring this ball out through Tommy Hazelton to the 5 on first tackle. Let's get this chat open. Let's fire it up. Here we go. Turn your caps lock off. Rusiati says, what's your favourite NRL team? Yeah, so just turn the caps lock off there, man. We don't need the caps off. I'm a Titans fan, man. Troy says, I can see Dolphins winning this and messing up my points. Well, I think most people would have tipped the Sharkies, but there would have been a few who have dabbled in an upset of the Dolphins winning. There would have been a few. The Sharkies will be at the 25. Blake Brayley off to Adam Fanor-Blake and will get this ball to 30. I just don't think the Sharks should be losing this game on merit of the two teams here, and it would be just so disappointing for Cronulla to start the season off 1-2 after back-to-back prelims and multiple finals in a row. They just can't get over that hump right now. They are at a massive hurdle, and it's just so difficult for them to get over that hurdle. Braden Trindle, this is also at home at Sharky Park. They just simply, they should not be losing this game, but they could lose this game knowing what the Cronulla are like. First tackle for the Dolphins. Hamiso will get dragged back to the 22 on first tackle. Brighton says, I got the same feeling. Colin says, I've gone the Dolphins in this one. There you go. Troy said, we went Dolphins last week and they lost. They're hard to know. No, the Dolphins won last week against the Titans. They were down and they came back. I do believe, though, that the Titans honestly gave them that win with how they threw that game way late on the end. And most Dolphins fans actually agree with it. They couldn't believe they actually won that game. Besides a couple of cucks on this channel who thought that it was like the most monumental win of all time. But the Dolphins need to show a lot of improvement going into this game. They need to be a lot better than what they were last week for sure. Big Happy Davis' Team B Broncos get the 2 points here. March Premiers is a sick burn. Well, that's what the Dragons have been known for a long time. They do so well at the start of the season. Not so much this year, but they do so well at the start of the season. Sam Stonestreet brings this ball to the 20 and then completely fall off the wagon. I've got to refresh this score so that you guys can get the live score below me. Let's refresh that bad boy, and that is all good to go. There we go. So yeah, March Premiers is something that the Dragons have been known for, but hopefully it's not the Wars this year. Hopefully the Warriors can go on with it, but it is something that has been a theme across the years. 4 tackle at the 40. Damien says, go the Dolphins. Brighton says, Finn's away jersey is pretty sweet. Yeah, I like it. I don't mind this jersey. I don't mind it at all. Sharkies, Britton Nakora gets that ball. Jesse Ramey, and not a good pass there from Britton Nakora. And Jesse Ramey will be taking out the 45 on fifth tackle. They lost about 5 metres on that play because Nakora passed it off. Finch should start just playing with Redcliffe gear. Ditch the gold. I haven't watched a Redcliffe Dolphins game in the Queensland Cup for a while, actually. Do they not have any gold on them? Have they not got any gold? I like this, though. I think that the gold's pretty nice on their jersey. You don't like the gold on the jersey? Cronulla should release a straight sets merch line. Oh, yes, because Sharks fans are really going to buy a straight sets merch line. Last year, this straight sets thing is funny, because last year they won their first game, and then they won their second game against the Raiders before having a very winnable game against Melbourne that they lost. And it's because, arguably, Will Kennedy had one of the worst games of his career in that game. But the Sharks definitely didn't get done in straight sets last year. They beat the minor premiers, and Hamiso taken down to the 40 on fit tackle. Hamiso and Herbie were their clear two best players last week against the Titans. Off to Nikorima, and Nikorima is going to put that ball to about the 20. Duff one there for Will Kennedy, but he grabs it, and he bounces off one and gets the ball to the 20. Good work there from Will Kennedy. He was under pressure to grab that one. Usually the first half of the year is when he has his best time, so we haven't seen too much bad stuff from Will Kennedy so far. Haven't seen too much bad stuff. Blake Brayley off to Samuel Stone Street, and Stone Street brings it out to the 35 on third tackle. But that's... I genuinely believe the Sharks should be a suitor for AJ Brimson. I think that he will be a massive play there in the fullback position. Will Kennedy's only signed for this year. They're not convincing him long term. I genuinely think that AJ Brimson would benefit them. And it's not like AJ wants to stay on the Gold Coast, but he wants to be in the spine. And I don't think a spinal position is for him. I don't think he's a 5'8". And even though he's a great fullback, we've got Keanu Kinney there. Cronulla is not too far different to the Gold Coast in living standards. Isaiah Katoa. No, it's not Isaiah Katoa. Jermaine Sarko grabs the ball at the 8 on first tackle. The living standards from Cronulla to the Gold Coast isn't too crazy. It's not like you're making you are living in Sydney compared to the Gold Coast, but it's a pretty similar lifestyle in a way. So maybe that could convince him, because right now he's kind of a bit of a situation that we've got until 2030 with that long-term contract. So the Dolphins will bring it out to the 22 on fourth tackle. It's a little bit of a situation. A little bit of a situation that the Titans do need to definitely get a hold of and to figure out how they're going to go forward with that. Because I just don't feel like he's a 5'8", and he wants to be in that spine. We just don't have the room for that. So the Sharkies will get that ball at the 15, and he is a good fullback. Flegler playing today. Flegler is not playing today. He is out. Samuel Stone Street will get this ball at 35. Sebastian Stewart came in for Flegler. Nico Hines off to Sione Katoa, and this is a 6 again for the Sharks. This is turning into a good set already. They already got out to the 40 on 2 tackles, and Jesse Ramey now on second tackle. He'll be at the 50. 34 minutes to go here the first half. Rolls it back to Blake Brayley. He'll get it across to Kale Iro, and Iro to the 40 on third tackle. Yeah, Flegel will be a big loss for him. He is a real hard worker, tough unit. It's unfortunate that he had that long-term injury, and now he's back out with an injury. Nico Hines, he's going to be taken down at the 28 on fourth tackle. I'm not too sure in regards to... I don't think it's a major injury. We would have heard more about it if it was major. Out to Braden Trindle. Trindle over the top here to Kale Iro, and good defense there from Masako to lock him up before he gets away. Fit tackle. Showing a couple of things now, the Sharks. Braden Trindle, he's going to kick that ball off at Will Kennedy, chasing it through. Will Kennedy coming through. Knock on there from... Oh, that's going to be a penalty. I think they're going to say that Kennedy impacts him before the ball comes down. I'll Google what's happening with Tom Flegler. Tom Flegler injury. Dolphins prop Tom Flegler. Oh no, they're talking about the back one from 2024. Sustaining a rib injury last week, so yeah, it won't be long. Flegler did not return for the second half of the Dolphins collapsed the Gold Coast last week after being assessed by for the injury during the break. Painkilling injection at halftime of the game. Where does it say how long he's out for? It won't be. I'm sure it won't be long, though. I'm sure it won't be long. I was hoping you could make it back into the Queensland side. Still got time. How do you fit him in? Second tackle here for the Dolphins, and they'll get 6 again at the 40. Big Homie Davis' feel for Flegler. Injury is really starting to take a toll on his otherwise great career so far. When he's fit, he's definitely on elite middle. No, he's a very good middle when he's fit. But unfortunately, he just never is fit at the moment. Second tackle here at the 50, and this happens to players. It does just happen, and they just can't get away from it. Look at Kalen Ponga, for example. You know, one of the best fullbacks in the game, and is so important for Newcastle, but is injured more than he plays. And I don't like to say that Tom Trbojevic, another great example, is injured more than he plays. Not so much recently, but it's just it's been a hard slog. It is a hard slog for a lot of those kind of players. Jake Averillo will be at the 21 on fit tackle. Bench front rower, I guess, but fair point. I guess maybe you could... Mo hasn't been at his best. I think that you could be looking at... Oh, good take from Sione Katoa. And Katoa is going to bring this ball to the 15, to the 20. Good run from Sione Katoa. He's still going here. He pushes away from a couple, but he will get taken down to the 20. Oh, that's a penalty. Well, that's a penalty. He's dragged him back there after he's been called held as he was getting up. But okay, Jesse Colhoun will get this ball to the 30 on second tackle. Yeah, I think you could probably add in Flegler for Mo if fully fit. But then I feel Mo is probably more damaging off of the bench than, say, Flegler. I think Flegler's a starter or nothing. And now Jesse Calhoun, he'll be at the 45 on 4 tackle. 4 tackle, rolls it back into Blake Brayley, off to William Candy. Oh, that's right, we're back with the ball team, the Sharkies. They're all, so many of them bald. Braden Trindle, Will Kennedy, Tommy Hazelton, their coach, Shane Flanagan again, Craig Fitzgibbon. It's the bald Sharkies. Cronulla Baldies, second tackle here for Dolphins at 25. 10 minutes gone to the first half, 30 minutes to go. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe. Still 0-0 here. Still 0-0, and the Dolphins lose the ball. There's the first attacking opportunity of the game coming up for the Sharks. Knock on from the Redcliffe Dolphins, and Cronulla go on the attack. Big Papa going one more, or did he retire from rep again? I don't know. I think he retired from rep, didn't he, Josh Papali? First tackle here for the Sharks. They're 15 metres away. It's not the Sharks, the Shinies. Incredible. Nico Hines gets the ball to Jesse Ramian, and Ramian... Oh, he will lose the ball as well. Oh, my gosh. No, please don't tell me that we're just going to see an error fest in this game. Please, I'm begging. We saw a really bad game last week with that Dolphins-Titans game on that merit. Please don't tell me that we're going to see that again here today. First tackle here for the Dolphins at the 30. And Hamiso gives it to Jake Avarillo. And Avarillo nearly gets away. Missed tackle there from Billy Burns. And off to Jermaine Sarko. Yeah, the commentary's trying to say there was a Dolphins hand that probably should have been Sharks ball, but either way, they made the error. Dolphins out the back. Sakatoa, short ball. Dolphins 35 metres away. Forward tackle. This is a great set. They've gone about 70 metres already. That's about 75 metres on this set for the Dolphins. It's pretty good. So Tabuai Fido chasing this through. He's really good at chasing it through and getting up in the air on those kick chases. But the Sharks will get the ball at the 10. It's just simply back and forth at the moment. We haven't seen any groundbreaking moments from either team to assert dominance in it. Again, the Dolphins give a prime opportunity to Cronulla, and then Cronulla give it straight on back. So we still haven't seen that big moment happen just yet. Third tackle at the 30. Blake Brayley, quick play the ball off to Jesse Ramian, and Ramian, strong run to the 46. A fourth tackle, 46 metres. They probably made about just over 30 right now. You'd want an extra 10 here, and Blake Brayley will get probably about an extra 7. So it's an okay set. It's probably about 36, 37. Oh, it's actually 47. 47 in the end. So that's actually not too... That's actually pretty good. That is pretty good on that set. Jermaine Sarko, he'll bring it out to the 20 on first tackle. 47 is not too bad. It's really good that they actually show how many meters are made on the set on the screen right after it. I have noticed it before. I haven't really mentioned it though. But that is really good that they've included that to the broadcast. Dolphins now at the 35 through Finifewiaki. He's had a really good season so far. Scored a try last week. Scored a couple of tries in the first game against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. I was expecting Lemielu to have a really big year, but he hasn't really done anything, whilst Finifewiaki has clearly been their best back. Roa at the back to Farnworth, and he's kind of tripped up with his own play there of Hamiso, but he gets the offload away to Nikorima. Nikorima all the way across to Sakatoa, and nothing really going on here in this set here from the Dolphins, and they'll be at the 48. Sharks side of the field, fit tackle. Max Plath was such a big inclusion for them last week. I honestly don't even think they'd win that game if they didn't have Max Plath. Will Candy to the 20. He's really helped out their defense. Again, this is still 0-0. This is just not what you would expect. Oh, massive hit there from Felice Kafusi, and that's stupid, man. Like, it's just stupid. Felice Kafusi loves giving away a penalty, and that is a penalty. He wants to challenge this, saying it's not his shoulder. Oh, it's just... I actually don't even think there's anything wrong with that tackle. I think that's probably a bad call there. It looks aggressive with the way that he's swinging his arm, but he is coming in for it. He is making a tackle. Yeah, I thought the tackle was all good. I think Kafusi is known for having bad plays like that. They should have challenged it, to be fair. It's just the way that Sohn Street's head has gone backwards there and ricocheted backwards, and Kafusi's history, plus also the swinging arm. Again, it shouldn't have been a penalty, but I can understand why the referees got that wrong. I can understand why he saw that as a bad tackle, but when you look at it again, it's clearly not a bad tackle. But the Dolphins had the chance to challenge it. They could have clearly challenged that call, but they didn't. Second tackle now at the 35. And they go out to Nicho Hynes, then back to Britton Nakora, and he'll get an offload away. Jesse Colquhoun. Jesse Colquhoun will be 32 metres away. Looking, says two shit teams. I don't think the Sharkies are going to be shit, but it's not looking unbelievably quality as we currently speak, but we're only early doors in this one. I think the Sharks, the reason why people think they're shit is because they just can't beat the big time teams. Will Kennedy out to Nicho Hynes, then off to Jesse Ramian, and Jesse Ramian is going to be 10 metres away from the line on fit tackle. What can they do? Ridiculous, they can't call it back if they're not going to put him on report. Oh, what the hell was that, Cronulla? What? What are you doing? On fit tackle, they've just passed the ball to Hazelton for a hit-up. Who just passed that ball? Who just gave that ball to Hazelton on fit tackle? 10 metres out, your option is to run a hit-up? What? Scott James says, BKR classy shirt, and you get that in Thailand. No, my mum got it for me for Christmas. It's a really comfortable shirt too. The quality is really nice. She ordered it online, so I don't know where she got it from, but no, it is a nice shirt. Completion rate 90% for the Sharks, 88% for the Dolphins. So it actually is a good completion rate from both these teams so far. Yeah, not quite the attack fest that we thought that was probably going to be seen here, which is the common notion across these last two games with Dolphins games. Maybe, do you reckon their attack is regressing because they're focusing more on their defense, and their defense is starting to look a lot more solid because they're taking that regression in the attack? So Will Kennedy out to the 32 on first tackle. Brighton says they took some advice from the Dogs, mate. Not fit tackle kicks. Yeah, no fit tackle kicks from the Dogs. They had a couple of fit tackle kicks against the Raiders on Thursday, but still not too many. Looks comfy. No, it is nice. It's really good quality. Jesse Ramey to Sione Katoa. And it'll be third tackle at 32. This isn't a fantastic set from the Sharks. This is really lethargic. This game is kind of sapping at the moment. It's like energy sapping as we currently speak. Still better than the first half of that Broncos Storm game last night. But again, that game turned into a belter. Fifth tackle now at the 50. And Blake Brayley at least into the attacking half. Nicho Hynes only 38 metres gain on that set, so not too great. Just hitting the marker kind of deal. And Hamiso brings it to the 25. Both these teams are probably averaging around that 42 to 43 metres per set at the moment, which is good. I'm actually going to quickly go and have a look at that stat to see. They're probably making pretty good meters. Average set distance. What? Average set distance for the Sharks at 26.35? No way. On multiple of their sets, they've been at the 37 just then. Oh, knock on there for the Dolphins. 37 and 48. 37, 47, 48. How possibly could they be 26.35? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, zero tackle here for the Sharks, the 42 after the knock-on from the Dolphins. And Nicho Hynes will bring this ball to the 35 on first tackle. Cover's been quiet so far in the new colours. Well, it's because the Dolphins are taking a step back on the attack to focus on their defence, clearly, for mine. Ibram says, whoever scores first will lose, judging by the rest of the games this round. That's true. Oh, no, guys. We are in for a muppet of a game. It's another knock-on here from the Sharks, who have seen, the completion rates look good, but we've now seen 4 errors, 4 knock-ons already in these first 17 minutes, 1 from either side. And there's no pressure on that drop from Adam Fanua-Blake too. Are both these teams exhausted right now? It looks like they're exhausted. Buck says, well, this definitely looks like an error fest. It is, yeah. It is looking like an error fest. So whoever scores first, because did the Raiders score first against the Bulldogs? I know the Roosters scored first against the Panthers, and the Knights scored first against the Warriors, and both those teams got pumped. I can't remember. Did the Raiders or Bulldogs score first? First tackle now for the Dolphins. Oh, they did. Fair enough. So every team who scored first this round has gone to lose. Well, I guess that answers my question. That answers it. Ruth says Cronulla are a shit plane. Honestly, both teams are kind of, playing really lethargic footy at the moment. 6 again here for the Dolphins at the 50. And they go to Gilbert. And Gilbert's going to be at the 40. Jared Farmani says, well, I don't get it. Not even 20 minutes in, but this is looking weird. It is a really weird game right now, man. Like, it's really weird. Like, it's not exciting. It's not, like, awful, but it's just... There's just nothing happening in the game as we currently speak. It's only been 18.5 minutes, but it's just a bit of a nothing fest as we talk right now, and there's been a few knock-ons, but it's just a bit of a nothing fest. Plath off to Isai Katoa out to Nikarima then to Herbie Farnworth. Herbie Farnworth will be taken down at the 15 on 4 tackle. Aesthetics Ankle says 25 minutes in and 85% of the players look gassed. That's what I'm saying. They all look exhausted. Is it really hot today in Cronulla? Like, is it really humid or something? 5th tackle, 9 minutes out for the Dolphins. Max Plath to Isai Katoa. Katoa, he steps. He'll get that ball offload to Plath. Plath then, and they'll take it down to 5. Oh, they've called 6 again here. They've called 6 again for the Dolphins. I thought that was just tackle 5. Oh, and he's lost the ball. Oh, no, it's still 4. They're going to score off the back of this. Oh, my gosh. Well, that was just an absolute schmozzle. He was going to blow penalty to the Dolphins, apparently, and then he said that... So they've called it as a try. I don't know what just happened there. That was such a weird play. So Avarillo is going to score. It's going to be 4-0 with the kick to come. What's just happened here? Because that was 5th tackle, and they were on the ground, the Dolphins, but I feel like he was offloading the ball backwards, and then maybe Will Kennedy has touched it. Yeah, so they go down. Well, yeah, it does. It's off Will Kennedy. Well, you can't say that it's the Cronulla player who touches it with his boot that's plated it for a 6 again, even though they've scored immediately anyway. It probably is just correct there from Jared Sutton, but playing advantage. Well, what are you? So you're playing? Are you saying Mick Ennis has been confusing the commentary right now? Surely they're just saying that Will Kennedy has knocked that ball out of the hands, which I'm okay with. I'm okay to say that he knocks that ball out of the hands, but Mick Ennis is also saying like the Sharks player played at it with his boot when that was just not what happened at all. But the knock on from Kennedy is fine. Cronulla lack the mental grit considering their roster is full of seasoned NRL players. It's so weird, big homie Dave. It's so right. It's so weird, but so right. Buck says, just need Sione Katoa, Fino, and Fino to score. Well, Jake Everillo, try confirm, and it's about to be, you would assume, 6-0. 20 minutes gone here. 20 minutes to go the first half. Hit that like button and subscribe. What a weird game of rugby league this has been. What a very, very strange and weird game of rugby league it has been so far. What a strange old game. But long way to go. Yep, 10% of your multi gets donated to Mr. Streamer because he mentioned it in stream. That is true. That is true. We do get the old $10, 10% donation. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh yeah, I've got to book my accommodation tonight for Thailand. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I'm a nomad. I honestly, I just can't stay in one place for too long. I don't know how people just stay in one place. They're going to miss that conversion. They will hit the post and it'll come back. So it'll say 4-0 here to the Dolphins. What are you guys like? Let me know in the chat. Are you like because I know people who just like to stay in their home. They just love to, not their home, but their hometown. They just love to stay put and be consistent. You know, nice home, nice family, just living their entire life in their home area. Or are you like me where you just feel like the itch to always travel? I've always got the itch. Like I can stomach being in a place for maybe 2 months, 3 months, but I can't stay longer than 2-3 months. I just always feel like the need to travel. Mr. Brocky, hello, Mr. Streamer, get around Mr. Brocky. Jared says, is there another fitness resort you're going to or just travelling back there to chill? I'm going to do some fitness there, so they'll kick the ball off to the Dolphins at the 5, but not like a fitness camp like I did last year. But no, it's kind of just because I need to renew my visa for Vietnam anyway, but... you know, Thailand's very easy. It's like $80 to fly over there, mate. It's $80. Like when you're traveling between Gold Coast and Sydney, or Gold Coast and Melbourne, or Brisbane and Sydney kind of deal, you're paying return like $400. I don't even know what it is now, but back then it was like $354. But over here, you can travel between countries for $80. 4 tackle. I wanted to travel honestly like the world is meant to be explored. It is. Obviously, I know it's a luxurious thing because not everyone has the ability to do it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just feeling like, I'm just asking the question, like, what do people have the intention where if they had the opportunity, they would travel? Or do you prefer just having that consistent base where you're always at home, around your friends, around your family, you understand the language? First tackle at the Sharks at the 22. I'd love to be a nomad stream. Unfortunately, I got 4 going on 5 anchors. I'll be back from living that dream. Namely, my wife and 3, soon to be 4. No, look, fair enough, man. Soon to be 4 kids. No, that does make sense, man. Like I said, it's not an easy thing to do. It's just like I get so bored if I don't kind of just keep on moving. Oh, that's a great run here from Billy Burns. He's at the 40, he's at the 35, he's at the 30, at the 25. Great run. Billy Burns has been such a star since the second half of last season for Cronulla. He really has been. He's been their best back rower. He's been better than Britt Nakora by a long way too for mine. And Nico Hines gives it to Britt Nakora, and Britt Nakora will be at the 18 on fit tackle. Fit tackle. Blake Brayley off to Trendle. Trendle kicks this ball up. Sharky's coming through. Knocked back here from Cronulla. And they're going to say, knocked on from Cronulla is what they're going to say. Okay. Bretton says, do you reckon you could make your coconut coffee with a cocktail drink with white rum or Kahlua? That sounds amazing. Yeah, you definitely could. You definitely could. Chuck a little bit of Kahlua or white rum into a coconut coffee. That'd be fire. That'd be real good. That'd be mad. I actually might, when I go out, see if I can do something like that. That'd be cool. Silencer says, if I could travel more, I would. I loved the time I spent in Vietnam. Hard to travel now with 3 kids. Might have to drop them off to the grandparents and go. Mate, at some point, you got to live your life. But traveling's a lot harder nowadays too, with everything going on in the world. 4 tackle for the Dolphins at the 40. But obviously, you've got priorities now and whatnot. Where did you go in Vietnam? Were you in Ho Chi Minh or did you go Hanoi, Da Nang, Dalat? Where else is there? You wouldn't have gone to Buon Ma Thuot. I'm sure you probably would have gone like Hanoi and maybe Ho Chi Minh, probably Da Nang. So the Sharks will get this ball here at the 10 through Sione Katoa, and he'll bring this ball out to the 25 on first tackle. Michael says, I'm at Sunny Coast Surf Club right now, Blaze, but I'm sitting with the bloke with the Titans polo shirt on. Get around it. You tell him he's the greatest man to ever damn well exist. Good on him. Good on him. What a man. What an absolute stellar individual. Wearing a Titans polo. Oh, my gosh. He just goes up 100 notches. Third tackle for the Cronulla Sharks at the 40. Neil Elliott says, live in Malta. I live in Malta. In Australia, done 97 countries. This Middle East stuff is making it harder. It definitely is, man. Yeah, 100%. Adam Fanua-Blake at the 48. Live in Malta, though. That's interesting. 97 countries. Wowee. You've been definitely all over the place. I want to be like that. Like, I genuinely would like by the end of my life to get to every country, but some people do it. That's really tough, though, man. Really, really tough. Dolphins get the ball to 5 through Jermaine Sarko. He'll bring it out here to the 15. 25 minutes in, still only 4-0. This is such a strange game. Such a strange game. Big Homie Dave says, true that. What's the point of having grandparents if not to exploit the option when necessary? Exactly right, mate. Exactly right. That's spot on. Third tackle. 15 minutes left the first half. Michael says he loves talking about the Titans in a direction where they're going, Blaze. I love how Titans are being brave for years. Well, look, hopefully, man. Hopefully it all turns around for us. Let's see how they go tomorrow. But there is still positive vibes around a direction. It's just not necessarily going to plan as we currently speak. But hate to say it, you've got to be patient. And patient is a word that Titans fans hate, but you just have to be. You can't. Oh, knock on a Katoa on fit tackle. Gee whiz. This game has had mistakes galore. Good to see, though, like, all the way in Malta to be consistently. Actually, what time would it be for you guys? It'd be pretty early in the morning, wouldn't it be? Keeping up to date with it. Time in Malta, 7:57 a.m. Yeah, okay. Actually, that's a great time slot. That would be a great time slot for like the Friday night games and the Thursday night games and stuff. Brett says, next time at my local Vietnamese takeaway, I'm asking them to make one of those coffees. They sound really good. Did you say it was a traditional drink there? Coconut coffee, I believe, like on this level originates here, but it's definitely a very Vietnamese thing. Second tackle now, third tackle at the 35. You can't get it everywhere here, though, so your place might not even make it, but I'm sure you'll be able to get coconut coffee somewhere. Out to Will Candy, then on to Britt Nakora, and Nakora. Even these drinks are good, though, man. The Coffee Sua, like, they're just like cans of... they're very good. Vietnamese coffee here is unreal. Nico Hines over the top here. They give it to Samuel Stonestreet. Stonestreet makes a play for a try. Samuel Stonestreet, look at the footwork on him, man. Look at the footwork on him. That's an exciting try there from the Sharkies. That is an exciting try, and they score on the corner through Stonestreet. And Nico Hines with a good ball over the top there for, I would assume, the try assist. Stoneshred has to do a lot there. He has to step inside and step again and pushes through 2 tackle attempts, and Hamiso misses the tackle too. So 4-4 here with a kick to come. Silence said starting Ho Chi Minh. I could start flew to Hanoi, then train down to some places central. Can't remember exactly where we went. Was 7 years ago. I'm sure it would have been Da Nang and maybe Nha Trang, but Nha Trang is quite south if you went on the train. But like Da Nang and Dalat and all that. But no, I've been in Ho Chi Minh the last 2 months. I was here for about 2.5 months last year as well. My dad actually lives in Vung Tau. He's not here now. He's on the Gold Coast, but he actually lives in Vung Tau, which is about 2 hours drive from Ho Chi Minh on the beach. But in a flash, the Sharkies are back. It's 4-4 with a kick to come to take the lead. Stoney needed him. Good stuff, Brenton. You're on. You're on for the 10%. You're on. 12 minutes left of the first half. At least we got something. What? Anyone here in the rumor that Tino, Moses, and Peter are out tomorrow? I don't know who Peter is. Tino out tomorrow? Didn't even know. Apparently Tino might be out tomorrow. That's a frustrating loss if true. But Nico Hines for the conversion from the left-hand touchline. And Nico will put it. Oh, hits the post as well. Both conversions from both these teams have hit the post today. NC says, unless I go to a tourist area, I go months without seeing another white person or hearing English. Dude, I know what you're talking about. Again, last night when I went out with my partner and her friends and whatnot, not a lick of English. And I was in a place where there's no tourists. And we're at one of those Vietnamese restaurants where you drink beer and you have a laugh and all that type of stuff. And there's just no tourists and no English speakers there at all. Obviously her, but outside of that, like it's so funny when you're you're meeting the friends and the family, and you can't conversate with them. Obviously, you have the translator, but it's so difficult when you're meeting the friends and meeting family and all that type of stuff, and you just don't know how to. You can't like conversate with them at all, and you just kind of sit there and just experience, and they're feeling like, oh, are you enjoying or you're not enjoying? Like, are you hating this because no one's speaking to you? But it's like, I get it, like I understand it. It's completely fine, man. If you came to Australia, you'd feel the same thing. So it's all part of it. But it's just so funny, that experience of sitting there in the middle of Timbuktu, not understanding anything and just having to vibe to yourself. 4th tackle now at the 33. 11:20 to go the first half. Right hand side, Nico Hines taking out the 45. Nearly a penalty there. I'm surprised he didn't get a penalty for a late hit. Brenton going to be paying for Mr. Streamer's accommodation if it gets up tonight. Yoo-hoo! Get around it. Get around it. So Jermaine Sarko to the 30 on first tackle. 10 minutes to go in the first half here. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. And they're away. Jake Everillo taking out the 50. Second tackle. Good run, though. Good run. That rings some bells. Yeah, well, they're kind of the main places. They're the only real places that you would have gone. Tyler's not too bad for it, though, ends here. Nicarima out to Herbie Farnworth, and Farnworth still going here at the 30 to 25. Offloads it to Hamiso. Hamiso gets it across. They're away down the right. Sakatoa taken down to the 20 on 4th tackle. Game's starting to open up a little bit now. Hamiso. And Oren Keeley will be 10 metres away, 5th tackle. I was trying to figure out the name of the guy just then. Quickly, Max Plath to Nicarima, to Herbie Farnworth. Herbie Farnworth, this is 5th tackle here. They've got space on this right-hand side. They've got numbers galore. They get the ball across to Jermaine Asako with the try time. Jermaine Asako with the try time in the corner. It's 8-4 here with a kick to come to the Dolphins. That is a beautiful pass from Isaiah Katoa. That needed to be perfect, and it was perfect. That was perfect. Isaiah Katoa with a beautiful pass at Jermaine Asako. And 8-4 with a kick to come. 8-4. It all starts off the back of that Herbie Farnworth run. It was so strong, and then for him to get the offload away to Hamiso, and they just push down the right, and then they spread it back to the left. And then open up the right-hand side through the passing. Herbie Farnworth, look at this pass again. It's like I told you, knew they had space galore over there. It had to be perfect, man. It could have easily been a forward pass, but he got it right on the dot. Right on the dot. That is a great pass, and you always know that Jermaine Sarko is going to be putting that down in the corner. 9 minutes left. Okay, let's see if this conversion can be made or if it hits the post again for the third time here today. But no, I wouldn't say Thailand's too bad for... Like, the English isn't spectacular, NC, but it's much better than Vietnam. I wouldn't say Thailand... maybe down south area. I am talking places that are relatively tourist populated. So, you're not in a... You're saying you're not in a tourist populated area, so that would make sense. I love it. I have a laugh to myself most days thinking, where am I? Yeah, exactly right. That was me last night. That was me last night. Jermaine Sarko tries against the Sharks twice. Season 3 for Dolphins 50. 20-metre spiral cutout. Beautiful stuff. Cut out two. Did he cut out 2 players? I think he might have. But Jermaine Sarko, he will get this kick right over the black dot. It is 10 points to 4 with 8.5 minutes to go the first half. Jaden says, not watching the game, but by the look of the score, it seems Sharkies are still hungover from that Panthers game. This game, it's not necessarily just a hangover for the Panthers game. They're just both... It's been okay. The last 10 minutes has started to look like a better game than the first 20 minutes. There's been a few errors that are now a lot more limited in this last 10. But yeah, the Sharks, they just are looking very... The Dolphins are looking too, but that's a beautiful pass. I just feel like the Dolphins have regressed their attack to improve their defense, and their defense is improving on the back of it. Drinks running last night. Vietnamese tiger beer, and then when we went out, I had some Dutch beer when I was at Bolivian. So second tackle at the 20. When you're at those local shops, you can only get the local Vietnamese beer like Tiger and the likes. And Dolphins will be 33 metres away from their line. Third tackle, 8 minutes to go. But then obviously when you go to the more tourist areas, you can get anything. There's a great brewery at one of the tourist areas here. Fourth tackle. I had an amazing beer from Germany the other day at one of the bars. That was awesome. And now it'll be fifth tackle for the Dolphins at the 40 on the Sharks side of the field. I couldn't tell you the name of it, but it was really good. So cheap as well. And Sakatoa puts this one to the 10 where Stone Street grabs it. And he'll bring it, just to the 10, first tackle. The Sharks just aren't making any meters now. That average set distance would make sense a lot more now to look out of that 26 compared to when we originally looked at it. Tiger beer is fantastic. No, it's pretty good. Haven't had Tiger yet. Had Leo in Thailand, though. I'm not a massive fan of Leo. I wasn't a huge buyer on it. Good run from Blake Brayley. He's going to get that offload. Oh, it's a knock-on from Siasifa Talakai. Sharkies looking very, very underwhelming at the moment, man. This is very underwhelming from Cronulla. Hamiso brings his ball first tackle to the 37 minutes left of the first half. They're just looking really underwhelming. They've got kind of not much attack, and that's why you say, like, you played the Titans in round 1 and got a 52-10 win. Who cares? Because, like, that's expected there against the Titans. But aside of that, they scored 6 points last week against the Panthers and just didn't look like any points would come on the board at any time. And right now, they've scored that one try, but outside of that, they haven't looked likely to score at any other point either. It's Sakatoa to Finifiwiaki, and he'll be 4 metres away from the line on 4 tackle. Max Plath, he'll get it out to Knowles. Oh, beautiful pass. Oh, that's a knock-on from Kodi Nikarima. Beautiful. Oh, they're going to say there was a forward pass originally. NC says Hong Tong Whiskey. Is it Hong Thong or Hong Tong? I know in Asia it's usually the TH is just like Tong. Hong Tong Whiskey now has cans with cola here. Yeah, fair enough. Don't mind that. 5:45 to go the first half. Sharkies with the ball at 10. At least they're defending the line. At least they're getting some defence there, Cronulla, which they were the 4th best defensive team in the comp last year. Or 3rd best defensive team. No, it was Bulldogs, then it was Storm, then it was Panthers, then I think it was the Sharks. Don't get sucked into the Sharks' fraudulent displays, you said to yourself at the start of the year. I say it to myself every single year, really. Nico Hines, he'll get taken down at the 35. And 6 again for Cronulla. At least we haven't seen a great deal of 6 agains in this game. No, well, I did prick them a lot lower than basically their last couple of seasons would suggest. Their last couple of seasons should suggest they're a top 4 team, but they're obviously not. So I didn't predict them in the top 4. Nico Hines underneath and Nikora at the 33. At least this is a really good set here from Cronulla. Oh, he's lost the ball. Oh, for gosh sake. Nikora, you're shitting me. Oh, Britton Nikora has knocked the ball on. They're looking so poor here, Cronulla. So poor. Well, something's going wrong in Cronulla. There has to be something wrong in Cronulla right now. There has to be. You can't be this poor with this roster so consistently. Like, it's only 10-4 here. The Dolphins, with the way the Sharks have been, should be up by a lot more. Just like last week, the Titans, without the Dolphins should have been up by a lot more, but they weren't. But it's just really poor stuff here from Cronulla at the moment. Colin says, Crystal Tiger is nicer than the regular Tiger. Crystal Tiger? I'm not too sure. Big Jack Dawn. It's only 10-4, man. There's still 44 minutes to go here of this game. Third tackle now for the Dolphins at the 50. Yeah, you need some. Like, Cronulla were just starting to find something. They were getting that was a good set, and then they make that mistake. Nico Hines misses a tackle, and Farnworth gets an offload to Nikorima. He'll get it out to Oren Keeley, and they've actually lost 10 metres because of those offloads. Offloads aren't always the greatest idea, lads. You've got to pick your offloads at the right time, otherwise you will lose 10 metres just like that. Herbie Farnworth to the 45 on the Sharks side of the field. And now we'll just get a kick, I'm sure, into a corner. An easy one here. And the Sharks have to work out of their own 10 again. Dolphins' kicking game has been good today. They've not really given the Sharks much space on the chase. Oh, it's a massive hit there from Morgan Knowles. Wow. Massive hit. Yeah, Crystal Tiger definitely sounds like something you'll find in an alley in Vietnam at 3 a.m. if you ask the right questions. Yeah, that is what my immediate thought was. I'm like, I don't know what this Crystal Tiger is, but it sounds dodgy. It definitely sounds dodgy. Will Kennedy off to Sione Katoa, and it's third tackle at 20. Just no meters. No meters at all. Just nothing going on here, Cronulla. Show us some enthusiasm, man. Offload from Morgan Kafusi to Talakai. At least that's a very strong run there. So that's a great offload there from Kafusi because they end up getting an extra 20 meters off of it. That's a Nico Hines. Hines then out to Braden Trindle. Trindle gets this ball across to over the sideline. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's actually stayed in bounds. And Stone Street's going to pick it up and he's going to bring it to the 48. You're very lucky there, Cronulla. Very lucky. The ball hits the grass and was going over the sideline, but Stone Street just kept it in bounds. And Trindle just has to whack that ball down to the 13, where Hamiso grabs it. Tigers, Dolphins, 2 good upsets to evolve. I think the Rabbitohs win, but we'll see. Oh, that was out. The ball did touch the line. It should have been out. Don't know what Voss is watching because you could clearly see that ball touch the line. But obviously they didn't call it. So second tackle here for the Dolphins at the 30. And now Lemielu will be at the 25. I have been really underimpressed by the 35. I have been really underimpressed by Lemielu this year. I just expected so much more. Again, Finifuiaki's been their back rower guy. Fourth tackle out to Nikorima. And then out to Hamiso. Hamiso short ball to Farnworth. Farnworth's away here. He gives it off to Hamiso. Hamiso, he's away, and he will score! Hamiso Tabuai goes bang, and Cronulla, you are looking dreadful. Cronulla look like they don't care right now. They are falling off of tackles. They are not making any meters. They're making knock-ons. They just don't look good right now, the Sharks. They just don't look good. But Farnworth and Hamiso continue to be their 2 best players. They just create the opportunities. Hamiso to Farnworth. Sione Katoa falls off a tackle. Nico Hines nowhere to be seen. Will Candy completely doesn't do anything. And then Hamiso just has a free run at the line after a pass from Herbie Farnworth. This Sharks team looks like they're going through some internal troubles right now. There must be something wrong inside their organisation. There has to be, because it doesn't make sense with their roster that they perform like this. It just doesn't make sense. It just does not make sense. 14-4 here to the Dolphins with a kick to come. The Dolphins have been a lot better than last week, though. The Dolphins have been a lot better than last week. And they deserve to be in the lead here, 100%. But it's just so surprising that the Sharks every year do this. They never change. Everyone says, Dolphins aren't even a top 8 team. Sharks, what are you doing? But, like, I'll give the credit to the Dolphins here. Like, the Dolphins have been a better team. They haven't been great in this first half, but they've been a much better team than what they were last week, and they have been better than the Sharks in this first half. The scoreboard is reflective of how this first half has gone. And they will get the conversion. So that should be half-time, and it will be 16 points to 4 to the Dolphins right on half-time. And Sharks, you've got a lot of soul-searching to do at half-time. You've got a lot of soul-searching to do because right now you are really underwhelming in this season. You cannot rely upon a 52 points to 10 win over the damn well Gold Coast Titans because the Titans are going to be bottom 4 this year. You cannot just simply rely upon that. But this Sharks team just is all over the shop. Bretton says, while the talent Sharks lose next year, they could drop out of the top 8 if not this year. Not sure what's wrong with their club at the moment. Well, who do they lose next year? Who are the Sharkies losing from talent next year? They lose Mweni Hiroti to the Titans. They lose Hohepa Poru to the Titans. Not necessarily mainstays there at all. Will Kennedy's off contract, but I think that's I genuinely believe they need to start looking towards a different fullback. I think it is a must at this point. And who else are they losing? Nico's still there. Braden's still there. Multalen's going to Katoa's still there. They've got most of their contracts locked down. I don't know who they're losing. Sharks may get kidnapped by the Dolphins like that guy in the USA, Gerald the Dolphin. Don't even know what that means. Scott says, Sharks, what are you doing? They're looking super underwhelming, man. I feel like Hines really gives his all. It sets a bad tone. I disagree. I don't think that this is on Hines, but I do again think that Hines isn't a halfback. I just don't think that he is a game-deciding, game-managing halfback. I think that he is a 6. He needs somebody else to be the game manager, and he's meant to be the floater. But he has been developed into this halfback to be that game manager that just isn't panning out for him. I feel like he needs to be the 6, and I don't know if it's past it in his career now where he's too focused on being that 7 that he won't be able to shift into that 6. But I just don't think that he is the 7. I really don't, and you can't keep going to death with this halves pairing of Braden Trindle and Nicho Hynes if you're going to continue to see these mediocre results. Now, again, it's half-time here. There is still plenty of time. It's only a 12-point game. But the point is that this is a consistent problem and a consistent theme and a consistent discussion point that we have about this Cronulla Sharks team. Andre Southgate says Sharks will come back and win in the second. Sure, but the questions are still legitimate. Yes, there's an entire potential for that to happen, and yes, it is entirely possible that the Sharkies do go on to win this game, but the questions are still valid that we're talking about because it's not like this is just an immediate thing that we're talking about from one game. We're talking about a collective problem that we've seen from the Sharks over the last couple of years. Cortez says, do you think they can come back or it's over? Oh, it's only 12 points. Definitely could come back. Give me 1 second here, guys. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Be back in 1 second. Sorry, I thought I heard something drop in the background, so I had to go and check it out. Okay, we're back. Drew, is he showing the actual game or just your face? Well, Drew, you're looking for an illegal stream, so I'll let you do the math in regards to why you can't see the game right now. But let's get through the stats here, guys, at halftime. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Let's see how this game is playing out. So the Sharkies are on 4, the Dolphins are on 10, and the try scorers are Samuel Stone Street, Jake Cavarillo, and Jermaine Asako. With 0 from 1 conversions for the Sharks and 1 from 2 for the Dolphins. Now, possession-wise is 50-50. Both teams have had the same amount of ball. 14 minutes and 33 seconds in time possession for the Sharks, whilst 13 minutes and 34 seconds in time possession for the Dolphins. That is 28 minutes in total that we are seeing time possession in this game. That is a really positive number. You want to be seeing at least 25 minutes. They're 3 minutes above that, so we're seeing good time with the ball. Everyone says also true, good job. Completion rate, 80% is the minimum that you are looking for. Yes, not capable sue, you'll just get banned. You can't show the game. Broadcasting restrictions is illegal. So yeah, that's why. You can't show the game. But completion rate is 83% for the Sharkies. That is above the 80% minimum. That is actually pretty solid considering how they've been performing. They're 15 from 18, whilst the Dolphins are at 78% at 15 from 19. So just a little bit below the marker of 80%, but it's not too bad overall. Both teams are actually holding the ball more than the game actually looks right now. It looked like it was going to be an error fest at one stage, but it didn't really kind of pan out for that in the second half of that, second half of the first half. Now, the runs-wise, Dolphins with 99 runs to 71. for the Sharks. So it's interesting that the Sharks have had time possession 14-33 and the Dolphins have had 13-34, but yet the Dolphins have actually had 29 more runs here. 29 more runs here. That doesn't make sense. These stats don't look right. But anyway, I'll read what the stats say. So the Sharkies are at 71 runs for 637 run meters. They are 70 meters behind the 10 meters in average per run. So it's okay, but it's nothing amazing. Whilst the Dolphins are at 100 runs for 910 run meters. So they're 90 run meters behind the 10 meters in average per run marker that you're looking for. Sharks are probably doing a little bit more with the ball there based off of that. But overall, it's well in advantage of the Dolphins. And you can see that on the field with their breakaways. The post-contact meters is 208 for the Sharks and 255 there for the Dolphins. It's probably quite even, if not in a Sharks' advantage, if you give them those extra 29 runs. But that just doesn't look right to me when I'm looking at the run separation there with the possession count. Line breaks is 3-2 for the Dolphins. Tackle breaks is 18-11 to the Sharks. So the Sharkies are definitely getting a lot more tackle breaks than the Dolphins. And the Sharks defensively on a individual tackling percentage are actually doing really well, only giving up the 11 there. Okay, so this is adjusted now. Okay, so I've actually got this is adjusted. It's 52% possession for the Dolphins with 15-22. That makes sense now. There's actually been about 30 minutes of gameplay. That's really good. And both teams are at 80%. So the stats did just update. Anyway, long story short, the post-contact meters is actually in favour of the Sharks now with 11 less runs. So yeah, I knew there was something looking wrong with the stats. They're more post-contact meters with 256 to 254 with 11 less runs. It's 101 to 89, so now it's 12 less runs. The line breaks is 4-2 Dolphins. The tackle breaks is actually 18-14 to the Dolphins actually. The Dolphins actually got 3 extra missed tackles there from the Sharkies. The average set distance, 25 metres and under, is, turn the stream off, pathetic. 25 to 30 is underwhelming. 21 to 30 is disgusting. 30 to 35 is underwhelming. 35 to 40, hit the marker. 40 to 45 is great. 45 to 50 is fantastic. And 50 plus is basically perfect. Both teams above the 40 here at 40.15. I don't think that the stats were correct when it said 26 before for the Sharks. 40.15 is in the great category at the very beginning part of it. And the Dolphins with 43.07, which is a 3 metre above them there, and now 43.52, 3.5 metres above them there, and in the great category going towards the fantastic category. So the Dolphins are getting a lot of metres on their average sets, and then the play the ball speed. So 3.19 and below is extremely fast. 3.2 to 3.39 is fast. 3.4 to 3.59 is average. 3.6 to 3.79 is slow, and the 3.8 and above is extremely slow. The Sharks are extremely slow right now at 3.8 on the dot. That is really, really slow. You're not really seeing that too much in the modern game of the NRL. That is a big reason as to probably why this game is looking so lethargic, because they're taking a long time to play the ball. And then 3.38 seconds for the Dolphins is in the fast category. It's between 3.2 and 3.39. It's getting close to the average, but it is in the fast category with 3.38. So there is a major gap there between how fast the Dolphins are playing the ball and how slow the Sharks are playing the ball. Offloads is 7-6, so basically equal. A lot of offloads there. Kick defusal is 100% for the Sharks, 50% there for the Dolphins. And then on the effective tackle percentage here, you are actually seeing overall quality here from the Sharks on an individual metric. Collectively, they've given up a couple of tries here, but on an individual metric, their defense is actually looking quite solid with 91.18%. 85% below is disgusting. 85% to 88% is underwhelming. 88% to 90% is hitting the marker. 90% above is basically perfect. They're at 91.18%. That's really good. 217 tackles made for 14 missed tackles and 7 ineffective. So a lot of tackles made. A lot. And only 14. The average is 15 to 17 on the average missed tackles. They're 1 below that. That's great. And the ineffective tackles of 7, the average is 5 to 7. They're on the upper end of the average, but they're not into the bad category yet. So that's not too bad. 21 bad tackles in the first half with a massive 217 tackles made. That is really good numbers. Whilst the Dolphins, they're in the underwhelming category of 85 to 88% of 87.33. The tackles made is 193, so about 24 less tackles made for the Dolphins with 18 missed tackles. So 4 more missed tackles. They're just above the average of 15 to 17 there. And the ineffective tackles of 10 is 3 above the average of 5 to 7. So 28 bad tackles in the first half of the Dolphins with 193 tackles made. 21 bad tackles from the Sharks with 217 tackles made. That's why you're seeing that gap there in the effective tackle percentage. And then you go to the negative play. This is where the Sharks are losing this game. 3 and below is really good. 4 to 6 is out on the average level. And then 7 and above is really, really bad. The Sharks are at 7 errors. That is really poor stuff. The Dolphins are at 4, which is in the average category. A lot of errors in this game, really, but the Sharks are just in that really poor category. If they can hold the ball, they'll go a long way to win this game. But right now, those 7 errors are killing them. Penalties conceded is 1-1, so both teams have actually been quite disciplined here. Ruck infringements is 1-1, inside 10 metres is 1-1, and on report is 1-0 for the Dolphins. So overall, both teams have been quite disciplined in regards to, giving away penalties or 6 against kind of deal. The errors are quite high overall, but specifically from the Sharkies, the defence has actually been pretty good from both teams, but specifically the Sharks, despite the scoreboard. And the Sharks are just making those errors, which is kind of keeping them out of this game. Like right now, it's 94 for 832 run meters for the Sharks and 103 for 920. If you give the Sharks the extra 9 runs, they're probably up and thereabouts around that 920. So it's pretty even in that regards. It's just that those 7 errors is what's crucifying them right now. The 7 errors is what's getting them, and one of those tries came directly off the back of Will Kennedy knocking the ball out of the hands on fifth tackle. They were just about to get out of that set. They were just about to have a successful defensive set for the Sharks, and then he makes that mistake. They get the ball and immediately go and score, which has been their biggest detriment. And then even the try at half time was really lazy defense in a lot of ways. Herbie Fun with Anamiso are fantastic, but it was really lazy defense for them to fall off the tackles as easily as they did. So the Sharks, kind of their own worst enemies right now, but the Dolphins haven't been too bad themselves. They've deserved this lead at halftime. But that's the stats. Right now, I don't know what to say. If the Sharks can hold the ball, they could still come back and win this game, but the Dolphins have... The Dolphins, you would hope to see them hold out in this game. You would hope, because the Sharks haven't been any good. But the Broncos looked awful last night, and then we obviously saw how their second half was, coming back from 14-0 down after an 0-2 start as well. And we do see that the NRL Rugby League nowadays, the second halves are definitely the ones with the more priority, with the way that teams come running back into it. And both these teams looked exhausted in the first 5 to 10 minutes of this game. They both looked exhausted really, really early. So we'll see who's looking less exhausted in the second half. Big homie Dave says, yeah, definitely agree there. I'm sure most of us NRL armchair coaches have the same sentiment, but seems Sharks think Tank believes otherwise. I'm not too sure why they still believe in Hines at 7. I think because at the end of the day, he weren't one of Dally M in the 7, and who else are they really going to put there? They've got Braden Trindle, but I just don't think he's necessarily the answer for the 7. Home of the NRL says, has it just been poor defensive decisions from the Sharks and too many errors? It's just been too many errors, and the Sharks just haven't been good enough. They've been really lethargic. Yeah, like the Britt Nakora has had a drop-off of epic proportions in regards to his career the last year for mine. Billy Burns is clearly their star back rower as we currently speak. Nico's not necessarily getting his job done. Trindle's okay. Will Kennedy's okay. Their forwards are just, okay. Adam Fanua-Blake hasn't really provided any actual change and benefit to having that guaranteed front row forward who's going to just make those meters and put the big plays in. I think he's had an error here today too. It's just a really icky situation in Cronulla as we speak. It's just really icky. Sean Large says, what do you think of the Wilds 3 in a row? Well, I was live for it, man. If you want to go and see my reaction to it, you can definitely go check out that live stream. It is up for you to go and check it out. It is up there for you to look at it. But no, very happy with how the Wilds did. Obviously, they took on a Knights team that they were expected to get that win. But the first 2 games is the ones that I look at more so and say they've been very good, especially now that they've gone that 3 in a row. I want to see them take on the Storm in a couple of weeks. And they do have the Sharkies next week. And no, they have the Tigers next week and the Sharks, then the Storm. So those Sharks and Storm game is going to be the one that I really look for. Jess says, good morning from the UK. Another great game being covered. Love the channel. Learning a lot about the game of rugby through this channel. Appreciate you, Jess. Rugby League. Rugby is usually what we refer to rugby union, but rugby league is this sport. But no, it's good to see that you're getting around the channel and getting around the game of rugby league. X-Factor says the Dolphins are playing like the Panthers. What the hell? They're just kicking well and defending. Look, they're playing. Oh, they're not playing like the Panthers. Let's relax. They're nowhere near that quality, but they have been playing decently. Yeah, the Sharks are just really not doing anything here, and the Dolphins have been quite solid overall. They have just been playing the basics right. But to compare them to the Panthers is insane after the first half we just watched there. But the Dolphins have been playing a lot better than the Sharks in this game for sure. Sean Larch says 13 plus Dolphins was $6. I don't think they win this game 13 plus, but right now they are up by 12, and there's every opportunity for them to go on to do it. Up the Bunny says, I believe that Nico Hines is a fullback. Not anymore. He's legit built like a fullback. Not anymore, he's not. He's fast. Not anymore, he's not. Have solid footwork and passing. Okay. He's not a 7, agree. And should be a fullback for the Sharks, don't agree. to give it a crack. 5 years ago, I agree, when he was a fullback at the Storm. But I don't agree anymore. He's not a fullback anymore. No way. No way. He doesn't play anything like a fullback now. He's not as fast as he once was now. He's not built like a fullback now. I don't know where you're seeing that now. But 5 years ago when he was a fullback at the Storm, sure. But he's not a fullback now. Bretton says, I don't mean to bash you, Sharks, but where is the upside moving forward? Exactly. That's what I said in my pre-season predictions video. Like, where's the upside here? You know, where is there any enthusiasm? Where is there any excitement going into the future? Because right now it's just looking extremely, extremely basic and not on a good level basic. But again, we're only 2.5 rounds in, but still, they've left a lot to be desired. But anyway, the second half has started here, guys. Hit that like button and subscribe. The Dolphins are going to be 13 minutes out from their own line. They're just not playing. Like, every game that we watch them in is just so... Full tackle. There's no, like, attacking... Oh, he's lost that ball there. He's lost this ball here, the Dolphins. And are they gonna say... No, they're going to say knock on here from the... I wouldn't challenge this. This is too risky to challenge. This is interesting because, like, there was a Sharks hand around, but they could have easily said that it was a knock on into that Sharks hand. They usually do just call these as a knock on, but... Yeah, as he's trying to offload it. No, I can understand why they've called that as a knock-on Dolphins, and I would have... yeah, it was way too risky to challenge that. But Sharks will get an attack here, 30 metres away. Minus the Sharks can come back. Of course they can come back. Of course they can. But the questions are still valid for the time frame. Who was the last player to debut for the Sharks? The Sharks are the same team from 3 years ago. Every other team is evolving. Oh, it was a knock-on from the Sharks. They did call a knock-on for the Sharks, but it's Dolphins ball here at the 30. He's evolving and improving. The last player to debut for the Sharks? Well, if you're talking about like an individual debut for the club, then Billy Burns probably. But if you're talking about a player that is like a young player debuting as his first ever NRL game, then I don't... Samuel Stone Street, maybe? Stone Street might be the last one. But the last player, the most fresh new player, Oregon Kafusi as well, maybe? 45 metres out, 4th tackle over the Dolphins. Oregon Kafusi, maybe? And they'll be taking down to 35. Has Blake Brayley always been Cronulla? Like, through the youth system as well? It's Saikatoa off to Finifuyaki to Jake Averillo. They get this ball through, and Will Candy picks it up at the 10, and it'll be first tackle for the Sharks. Bigummy says, it's usually a sign of Dolphins being able to get on the front, gain the advantage on the ruck, and get quick play the ball compared to the Sharks. Shows who's controlling the ruck better. Dolphins are definitely controlling the ruck better. Max Plath has been a big inclusion for that. Massive inclusion. Home in the NRL with a play the ball speed of 3.8 seconds. Have the Dolphins been holding on longer or the Sharks just super slow? Bit of a mixture of both, but the Sharks have just been super slow. Max Plath has been really good in regards to, you know, getting that ruck speed slowed down from the opposition team and getting it quickly for themselves. Like, Max Plath is such an important player here for this this Dolphins team. That's a 40-20 attempt here from Trindle, and it will bounce well for Hamiso. He's very lucky there. That bounced well for him. Kafusi was at Para. Oh, he was. Oregon Kafusi was at Para before the Sharkies. How was the Sharks' youth system? You don't hear much about it. They go through Newtown. The Newtown Jets. That's where, like, Liam Eisen and stuff is at currently. Newtown Jets are their feeder club. This is very concerning about the Sharks. They might not be top 4, as we know, and I know it's round 3, but man, it's quite worrying to say the least. But they didn't make top 4 last year. They came 5th. They had every opportunity to make the top 4, but they couldn't do it. The Broncos ended up getting it. But they weren't even a top 4 team last year. But this is very concerning for the Sharks. Chris Vieira debuted last year, and Brayley debuted at the Sharks. Yeah, but we're talking about most recent. I know Brayley debuted at the Sharks, but Herbie will get the ball, and he'll throw it forward. It would just be Sharks ball at the 15. We're talking about most recents. But yeah, Chris Vieira would be the most recent debut. So Trindle off to Sione Katoa. And Sione Katoa takes it to the 22 on first tackle. Braden Trindle off to Sam Stone Street. And Stone Street will be at the 30 on second tackle now. Cronulla not anymore, Sharks. I mean, not anymore. Off to Kale Iro, and Iro is going to be 40 metres away. 35 minutes left here of the game. You just got to show us anything here. Show us any form of enthusiasm. Just show us any form of enthusiasm, please, Cronulla. Make it exciting. Even if the Dolphins win, like make it exciting. Good run from Will Kennedy. There gets his ball to the 40 on fit tackle. Don't forget, we do have the Rabbitohs versus the Tigers right after this game. Braden Trindle, he'll kick that ball up. It's a decent chase here from the Sharks. No one goes up for the ball though, and Asako will be taken down to the 3. Now keep him down here. Show us some defensive damn well resolve. They go short side, and they won't make any meters there. They'll be at the 8 on second tackle. Billy Burns has been their best player today, and has arguably been their best player in the last year. Within the last 365 days, he's probably been their best player. Oh, nearly a knock on. Luckily, Selwyn Cobbo does still grab it, and he'll be taken out at the 20. This is literally the first time I've seen Selwyn Cobbo touch the ball today. I don't think I've seen Selwyn Cobbo touch the ball outside of that moment. And Dolphins will be 35 metres away on fit tackle from their own line. Isai Katoa, he'll kick that ball down to the 10. So Will Kennedy get them on the front foot here. Push them out to the 30-35 area. And good strong run there from Will Kennedy. Need that. Is it me or has Cubbo put on some weight? Like he's a lot fatter than what when he was in the Broncos. I would say that he was also quite big in the Broncos. I wouldn't say fat's the right word. But he's always been a big boy. He's always been a pretty big boy. Will Kennedy is actually doing really well this set. 6 again. He's doing amazingly this set. So that's going to give a bit of momentum here to Cronulla. All right, do something now. You're going to get an attacking opportunity. 35 metres out. First tackle for the Sharks. And they'll go out to Braden Trindle. And Cesar Vitalikai will be 27 metres away, second tackle. Sean Archer's Rabbitohs or Tigers. I've gone with the Rabbitohs. It's an interesting game, though. I've gone with the Rabbits. Britton Nakora. Poor run, man. Third tackle. He just hasn't been fantastic these last couple of years, Britton. Toby Rudolph off to Blake Brayley. I think they just called 6 again here. Oh, unless the referee was saying something else. Sione Katoa just gapped him. Oh, he's going to go down to the 5. That was awful defence from Selwyn Cobbo. But luckily, Herbie Farnworth, being the good defender he is, covered him nicely. Otherwise, that was a try. Selwyn Cobbo with some awful defence just then. Braden Trindle, they spread it to Will Kennedy. Kennedy quickly to Kale Iro. Iro gets away from the tackle. He's still going here. He'll be 10 metres away from the line. Fair tackle. Good scramble defence there from the Dolphins. They go out to Trindle. Trindle steps. He kicks his ball through for himself. It's a dropout. Wow, that was actually nice from Trindle. Overall, that was actually pretty good defense from the Dolphins on that set. Do Sharks know that beating the Titans by 50 doesn't mean anything? Well, they're learning it pretty quickly. Selwyn Cobbo, that was a disgraceful defending action just then. Home of the NRL, so I can't even say we can surprise teams and win a comp. We have no X factor. Even teams like the Broncos were inconsistent midway last year, but I still have superstars like Walsh. Yes. Where is the X factor here for the Sharks? It looked like originally they were going to have a lot of X factor, but it's ultimately turned out not to be. Toby Rudolph! That is massive run from Toby Rudolph. Well done. That is such a strong run. He just did not give up on that run. He just put his pedal to the metal and didn't stop. They get the ball to the 25, and now it'll be 18 metres out, 15 metres out. Okay, the Sharks are starting to get some enthusiasm behind their runs. See if Vitalikai brings them to the 10. The Sharks are starting to get some real strong enthusiasm behind their runs. They're starting to show they actually give a shit at the moment. Trendle gives it to Oregon Kafusi, and Kafusi is going to be 4 metres out, gets the offload away to Blake Brayley. Off to Nico Hines. This has been a really, really good start to this set. Bit of something, a little bit of something here from the Sharks. Britton Nakora back to Blake Brayley. Brayley goes in himself, and he'll get the offload away. And Toby Rudolph at 6 again here for Cronulla. 6 again, 5 metres out. They're finding some holes, but the Dolphins are scrambling well. Blake Brayley off to Trindle. Trindle and Nico Hines. Nico Hines taken down 5 metres out. Second tackle. 5 metres away. Is that another 6 again he's just called? Yeah, he has. There's a lot of 6 agains in this set, Dolphins. Be careful. Blake Brayley to Trindle. Trindle! Try time, I think. Has he got there? Has he put the ball down? They will call it a try time for the Sharkies under the post. Bang, bang. All right, game back on. I want to make sure that he gets this ball down here. I do want to make sure he gets the ball down, but for the time being, it is about to be a 6-point game. He has said the try is on. It all starts off the back of that amazing run from Toby Rudolph. The little things like that where you just throw your body to the line, you show to the rest of the boys, get on my back, I'm going to take you down the line. That's what sets up that set, and then we just need to make sure that Trindle gets that ball down on the original Original put down. I don't know, dude. Oh, there might be. I think the ball touches there. Yeah. The first touch, I don't think it touches, but I think the second touch does. Oh, no, it does. No, it does. The first touch definitely does go down. Well, I don't know why Mick Ennis is still arguing. I think that the ball touched it on the first time when looking at that angle just now. And yeah, you say that touches, and you can't overrule it as well. It's close. It's close, but I do think there's nowhere near enough evidence to overturn this. Yeah, it's been confirmed. It was a tough one. It was a tough one there for the bunker, but at the end of the day, they will confirm the try, and it's about to be 16-10. Just whiskers, yeah. The money says tips have been terrible for the last couple of weeks. Oh, mate, my tip last week was just awful. Awful last week. I think I got 3 out of 8. This week, it's not looking pretty as well. I need the Sharks to win this game too, really. Like, obviously I tipped the Panthers. But some people tip the Roosters, which is good. And then I think everyone tipped the Storm over the Broncos, so everyone's pretty much lost out on that one. But yeah, I did go with the Warriors over the Knights though. Most people would have done that too though. And then I went with the flyer on the Raiders, and that didn't obviously work out. So I've had pretty tough couple of weeks, but it's all in the name of the game, and that's what makes it fun. You think you know something, you think you're watching, and you know what's going to happen, and it doesn't, and I love that. I love that. So 16-10 to the Dolphins. 30 minutes to go of the game here, folks. Hit that like button and subscribe. 30 minutes to go. I will argue that was inches from the ground, but it's hard. No, I think it was a try. Oh, I don't think you could overturn it. I think if it was given as a no try, there would have it would have been a no try. They wouldn't have overturned that either. Rudolph can have some absolute blinders, but can never back it up. Rudolph can have some blinders, yes, but he also does have just horrific games where he knocks the ball on like 3-4 times. Dead set 3 or 4 times individually. Billy Burns, third tackle to the 23. Broncos should be removed from the NRL after how much they screwed my tipping up. Broncos, like, no one can tip them at the moment. Like, I did tip the Panthers against the Broncos. A lot of people would have tipped the Broncos against the Panthers, to be fair. With that being the first game of the season. Blake Brayley off to Oregon Kafusi, and Kafusi now to the 40 on fifth tackle. Number 16 for the Sharks is a big boy. That is Chris. Is that Chris Vieira? I think that might be actually, or is that Oregon Kafusi? Yeah, it's Oregon Kafusi. Sorry, I was right. I doubted myself there, but I was originally right. Dolphins now at the 25. Oregon Kafusi. Sharks are really missing Cameron McInnes. Massive inclusion to the team is McInnes, yeah. McInnes is a big part of that team. 33 metres away from their own line. They're struggling for metres right now, the Dolphins. Third tackle inside their own 40. Hamiso off to Herbie Farnworth, and Herbie is going to be at the 48. Could this be the opposite of what happened with the Dolphins last week, where they came back last week? Well, are they going to give up a lead this week? Off to Isai Katoa. And he'll put that down to about the 5 where Stone Street grabs it. You need to see those strong runs still. You need those forwards to really put in the hard yards at the moment, Cronulla. And Adam Fanua-Blake and Teague Wilton are coming back onto the field here for the Sharks. Well, not Teague Wilton's coming onto the field for the first time, and Adam Fanua-Blake is coming back onto the field for Cronulla. I'll get to Jesse Ramian, and Ramian, he'll push it to the 25 on third tackle. Not a great deal of metres on this set. But Cameron McInnes is a massive loss for the Sharks team. So defensively resilient, just so strong, so experienced. He knows what he's doing. Kafusi comes on for Morgan Knowles as well. Out to Trindle. Trindle is going to slow it down, and then he's going to give it off a good break to potentially Nakora, but he gets tripped up by, I think, Ray Stone. Oren Keeley comes over the top, but I think Ray Stone was the one who tripped him up before he got away. And that's going to go down to the 8 for the Dolphins, where Hamiso now takes it to the 10. Selwyn Cobbo to the 15, to the 20. Selwyn doesn't look as fit as he would like. I will agree on that capacity. Again, fat is not the right word to use there in the chat, so we'll cut that out. But he definitely doesn't look amazingly fit here for this Dolphins team right now. We've only seen him really touch the ball 2 or 3 times here today, and it has been overall unimpressive from him. Third tackle now at the 35. And now at the fourth tackle at the 45. Is Teague Wilton on the bench? Well, he's coming back from injury, Teague Wilton. I think this is his first game back. And Nikorima. Well, Teague Wilton's been injured, hasn't he? Home in the NRL, you're a Sharks fan. You would know. I'm pretty certain Teague Wilton's been injured. So Finifiwiaki, he'll be at the 33. Cobbo got the Latrell build and lost some footwork. Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't know if he's going to have that same speed that he once did. Sharkies get the ball, and there's a penalty. I'd take the 2 here if I'm the Dolphins. That's just so dumb from Cronulla. That is just so dumb. To give away an escort penalty there is just so dumb. I would take the 2 and make it an 18-10 game. You have to punish them for a stupid mistake like that. Blake Brayley, that is so dumb. He's literally just stopped and prevented Hamiso from getting a good run at this ball. It's so dumb. He's just looking heavy, lost a bit of pace. Yeah, I'd agree. It's on report, so it's not a sim bin, but it's on report. He nearly actually got binned for that. He nearly got binned for it. That is so stupid of a penalty to give away too. And they are going to go for the 2. It's the right call. It is the right call. Big Gummy Davis is fat shaming elite NRL players peak stream bans. Like, I get it. You can criticise a player looking unfit, and you can say a player is looking a bigger build for their position. I don't agree with ever saying fat, because they're not fat at the end of the day. They're just a bigger build for their position and have got a bit more weight on than what you would expect from the position. But at the end of the day, they are still a fit bloke because they're playing 80 minutes worth of rugby league, and you still need to have your fitness about you. But the critique is still valid in regards to looking unfit. And regardless if someone wants to call them fat, like look at who was that player for the Dolphins a couple of years back. The biggest problem for him was that he didn't have any kind of diet. Jermaine Sarko is going to put it in. It is 18 points to 10 with 24 minutes to go here in the game. So it's only 8 points, but Sharks just so stupid. Not fat, just chunky. What was the name of the... Dave Taylor was a union. Dave Taylor, we should see in post-career. What was the name of that high prospect Dolphins player that I think ended up going to rugby union? Looks like Raiders Bulldogs score. Sort of. It's definitely not the same game. Valence Tafare, that's the one, yeah. Valence Tafare. Where did he end up going again? He went to Japan Rugby, that's the one. Yeah, he had massive raps coming in, but he just didn't have any form of diet and didn't really knuckle down in regards to the fitness. And if you're not going to find your confidence and motivation to play and to get fit under Wayne Bennett, like who are you going to find it under? So Felice Kafusi, he'll bring this ball out to the 10. Rabbitohs Tigers right after this. That game starts in about 45 minutes time. Do you think Brayley could miss a week for that being on port, or just a fine? Probably just a fine. Blake Brayley's not necessarily a guy that's been known in the judiciary hearings, so he should be okay with it. It'll be a fine. I've seen a bit of Japan Rugby. He's looking more good, trimmed down a bit, and is becoming a fan favourite in Japan. Well, he would have been a fan favourite in Rugby League had he just gotten a bit of fitness about him. Fit tackle for Tom Gilbert and the Dolphins at the 38 on their own side of the field. Not a great deal of metres on that set. Good defensive set. 38 metres gain is okay. And Will Candy grabs this ball at the 15 and he'll bring it to the 25, to the 30. He's had some good, strong run backs, Will Candy, at the very least. Game is still on here, Sharks. You just need to go about it the right way for this last 22. You're only down by 8. Second tackle at the 40. Tristan says, say the Hammer's name right. Well, tell me how to say it right then. Third tackle at the 45. Go on, my glorious leader who knows all. Tell me how to say it correctly then. Because I always thought it was Hamiso Tabuaifoto. So go out to the left-hand side. Blake Brayley off to Braden Trindle. And Trindle's going to be Teague Wilton at the 25. And fifth tackle. Come on, glorious leader. Braden Trindle, he'll kick that ball to the 5, and good chase, but Jermaine Asako, he will get this ball taken down at the 5. Other money says, there are talks about Jamie Humphrey's contract extension due to Haas coming next year. Would you want him over Ilias? I honestly wouldn't want either. That's going to be a penalty. I think Jamie Humphreys there's a long way to go for him to prove that he's the player that he looked like in an early part of when he was getting his first opportunities. His first opportunities, he was looking decent. I think Rabbitohs fans have made him a tad overrated for what we've seen so far. But I think he will bring a lot more to the Rabbitohs today than what we've seen from Ashton Ward and Jaden Sullivan. But also, how is there conversations in regards to signing a halfback when you guys don't have a halfback really outside of Jamie Humphries? So the Dolphins are at the 45 on second tackle. 21 minutes left here. They gave away another penalty to the Cronulla. Kyle Webb was a favourite of mine as a heavy-set dude. Webb was an inspiration for me. No matter his size, dude play with his whole heart and always ran it straight and hard. Yeah, absolutely. Hamas to pronounce it like that, not having a go. Oh, sorry, I thought you were having a go at me saying. I thought you were having a go at me saying Hamisa to Fido and making it be like Hamiso Tabuai Fido or something like that. I don't know, but I don't know. I like calling him Hamiso. Just a theme with me. It's like when with who's that other play? Alex Tolotau Kuala. I'll call him his full name. And there's another one. Sharks will get taken back to the one that the goalpost probably saved them there. Who's the other player that I always love saying their full name to? No, Olquatu's not the one. There's another player where I like to say their full name. Maybe it's Bulldogs, a Raiders or Bulldogs player? Shit, I don't know. And now the Sharks will get this ball to the 15. This is an awful setting for Cronulla. 20 minutes to go of the game here, folks. Thumbs up and subscribe. Sharks are just still looking... They haven't been able to keep up with the confidence after that try. And they'll only get to the 25. It's tricky. I live in Cairns, friend with some family members that had to ask. I used to say it like you. Oh, yeah, fair enough. Stephen Crichton. No, Stephen Crichton's just a regular normal name. No, there's one player who has like a long name, and I just love saying the full name every time. I do say Sila Faimani for the Titans as well. Third tackle now at the 35. Yeah, I can't think of the name of the player. Felice Kafusi. He'll get it to Tommy Gilbert, and Gilbert now at the 28 forward tackle. But no, of course, you can understand where I come from with my original thinking that you were having a crack, because you do get comments like that quite a bit. Fifth tackle, 24 metres out. I thought Sharks would win. I think a lot of people thought the Sharks would win, but unfortunately it's not looking too good here for the Cronulla Sharks right now, but there's still plenty of time here. Herbie Farnworth will drop that ball, and Sharkies get the ball to 33. Sharkies will get the ball to 33 after the mistake there from the Dolphins. Is that zero tackle or is it first? No, they're going to say just went backwards. So Jesse Ramey to the 40. Tino's last name. Yeah, I do love Tino Fa'asumalawi. Do love saying that. It's not the player I'm thinking about, but yeah, I do love a bit of Tino Fa'asumalawi. Sharp Lazy, who always tries to pronounce Pacific Island players by their full name and wants to pronounce it correctly. You get it, Uso, especially you being Fijian yourself. I do my best. I do try to respect the player's name, unlike Blocker Roach with a Tino Fasuamui. Nico Hines down the right-hand side. He's away here. Siona Katoa. Oh, no. That's going to hit the knees there of Nico, though. So it's still Sharks ball at the 18. Fifth tackle. Okay, Sharks put something on here. Blake Brayley, they get it across the Trindle. Trindle at the 25. He will put that ball up in the air. You need a good chase here. Sam Stone Street. He will catch it. Sam Stone Street. He will go, and he will be held up, I think. I don't know. They're going to check this. I don't know. They're going to say no try. I think he's been held up here. I think he's... Oh, Nwana Tawase. That's the one, Ibrahim. I think that's the one, Mark Nwana Tawase. I think that's the one. I don't think Stone Street gets this. I think he'll be held up over the line, which is really, really frustrating. It's a good take there from Stone Street. It's a great take. So, Isako and Tabuai Fido are the ones to prevent this. Stone Street getting away. Will he get this? Well, he doesn't look confident, to be fair. It's going to be super hard to see this ball touch the ground. No, he's not going to get that. Oh, no, he won't get that. No, he'll be held up. He'll be held up. Good scramble from the Dolphins. Good scramble from the Finns. Mark Alphabet, Ibrahim says. Gee whiz. Well, luckily for the Dolphins, they were able to prevent that one. Sharkies threw a little bit at them in that set, and let's see if they can keep the Dolphins down here and get some momentum, because they had momentum, they didn't do anything with it, and maybe that gives them a bit of momentum here. And now the Dolphins will get this ball to the 15. Now look at this. Adam Fanua-Blake drags it back to the 13. Good work there from Kale Ero and specifically Adam Fanua-Blake. Felice Kafusi, can he get them out of the 20? And he'll be basically on the 20 here on third tackle. Not looking good for my tips this week. Not looking good for anyone's tips this week, Seb. Not looking good for anyone's tips this week. Everyone tipped the Storm, though. I feel like that must mean that you've gone with the Raiders over the Dogs, and I'm sure you didn't take the Knights over the Warriors. Did you take the Roosters over the Panthers? A lot of people would have taken the Sharks over the Dolphins. We are losing because of Daniel Atkinson. What does Daniel Atkinson have literally anything to do with this? Why is Daniel Atkinson the reason that you are losing? I can't wait to hear this answer. So Siona Katoa, what does Daniel Atkinson have to do with the form of the Sharks right now? Second tackle. He wasn't even in your starting team. He wasn't in your team last year or the year beforehand. He's never really been in your team besides when there's an injury. What does he have to do with anything? So they'll go out to the left, and Teague Wilton will get this ball to the halfway point on fourth tackle. 6 again, massive. Okay, massive here for the Sharkies. 6 again at the 50. They're only down by 8. I New South Wales starting front row was going to be Payne Haas and AFB. That's tough, you would assume so, yeah. Adam Fanua-Blake, he'll be at the 40. He'll be at the 40, and they'll go to the left to Braden Trindle. Trindle off to Kale Ero, and Ero is at the 30. 28 metres away, he left. But what does that have to do with anything? He wasn't your starting halfback, so what does that have to do with absolutely anything? It's not. You didn't lose anything in your team. You just kept the same team, minus a depth player. Out to Nicho Hynes. Hynes at the 15. Thomas Hazelton will be 10 metres away. Fifth tackle. 10 metres away. They give it across here to Nicho Hynes. Hynes then to Trindle. Trindle kicks his ball through here for himself. Teague Wilton chasing it through. Dropout coming up. Dropout coming on up. Wires, Dolphins, Tigers. Well, this game's not over just yet. Don't write the Sharkies off just yet. They are going to get another attacking opportunity right on the line. Right on the line is Sarko. The scrambled defense from the Dolphins has been something you don't usually see from the Dolphins, so you've got to give them credit for that today. This has been a pretty clean performance from the Dolphins for mine. It's not been extraordinary, but it's been a very much needed clean performance. Very needed clean performance. And the Dolphins, I think, have knocked that ball on. So this will be 0 tackle for the Sharks. But they might not need it. Will Candy, he gets it off to Trindle. Trindle right through the middle. He'll be 5-7 metres out here from the line. I will say Will Candy's had a good performance here today. Hasn't necessarily translated to the score sheet, but so far he has had a really good performance. That was 0 tackle, and now it's first tackle here for the Sharks. Jesse Colquhoun, you do need a score on this set for mine. You need a score on this attack and set. That is going to be another 6 again here for the Sharks. Give it to Nicho Hynes. Nicho steps. He's moving. He'll be taken down at the 10 on first tackle. On first tackle, off to Braden Trindle. Trindle here to Adam Fanua-Blake, and Adam Fanua-Blake is going to be 7 metres away from the line, second tackle. Blake Brayley off to Trindle. Trindle here at the 10, short ball, and Nikora locked down by Kafusi and Keneli Lemielu. Third tackle. And Blake Brayley, Nicho Hynes. Hynes goes it himself. Great defense again from the Dolphins. Cody Nikorima, fourth tackle, 5 metres away. They go quickly short through dummy half, and it'll be fifth tackle at the 4. Nothing really going on there from Jesse Ramian. Don't know what he was doing with that one. Sharks, you got to do something here, man. You got to do something. Nicho steps. He gives the offload away to Nikora. Gets it out right inside to Katoa. No, I don't know. Has he kicked that ball out here, or does Katoa touches it? Into touch off of Sharks. They may challenge this. This will be interesting. Did Katoa touch this, or Hamiso kick it out? Well, they're saying Katoa does. Okay, that's a hard one to actually decipher, but they're going to say that it is. That was awful attack from the Sharks, really. That was awful attack from the Sharks. Nicho is not a 7. He just isn't a 7, man. Hammer with the slide. Yeah, but I think the Katoa must have touched it, and then Hammer slid in, and it's gone over with him. So the Dolphins will be 13 minutes away from their own line. They're just so underwhelming, the Sharks, man. They're just so underwhelming. Jake Cafarilla, that's a high tackle. Yep, that's a penalty. Sharks, you do deserve to lose this game, to be fair. Like, you've had opportunities to come back in. You do. You've had opportunities to come back in. And unfortunately, you just haven't been able to do anything with it. The Dolphins have had a good performance today. It has been good. Yeah, this is definitely a high tackle here against Trindle. Definitely a high tackle against Trindle. It's just very one-dimensional, Seb Watson. There is no X factor here at Cronulla. There is no X factor. So Dolphins are at the 40, and they've just been given an easy exit into the attacking 50 right now. They go to Tom Gilbert. Nico and Trindle aren't creative enough. Exactly. Nico is not a 7. And I don't think Nico and Trindle actually work at going and getting across that hump. AFB 8 runs for 79 metres is just not good enough. He's not been fantastic today. Not been unbelievable this season, to be fair. He was really good last year for the Sharks, but this season so far he hasn't really lived up to it. Especially when you're trying to knock in that origin spot. Pulataya says, we want to see the game, not your mouth. Well, Pulataya, my advice to you would be to get a job then. How about that? How about get a job so that you can pay for the game? Because obviously, due to broadcast restrictions, I can't show you it. So the Dolphins will be taking down 1 metre out. So my biggest advice to you, Pulataya, is get a job. So 11 minutes and 20 seconds to go here. And the Sharkies are going to get the ball 5 metres out from their own line. Sean Large says, hammer with the finisher. The Dolphins are going to challenge this. Dolphins are going to challenge. The tackle is affected on Herbie while he's still in the air. So Dolphins are saying that Herbie has been connected in the air when he's got this ball. He goes up for it here. Sione Katoa is... Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, Sione Katoa does tackle him. This is a penalty to the Dolphins. This is a penalty to the Dolphins. Well, Herbie's all effort. Can someone let him play for Queensland? I know. I wish he was just over in Queensland a little bit earlier. A little bit earlier. Pull a time. Macca's is still hiring. I love when people like try to go over the insult route with like, oh yeah, we want to watch the game. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Well, like I said, man, and like Ibrahim said, Macca's is still hiring. At the end of the day, you understand broadcasting restrictions. You're looking for an illegal stream. You're literally looking for an illegal stream. Of course, you can't show the game live on YouTube. All right, 10 minutes to go here. 10 minutes to go. Are the Dolphins taking the 2? Surely not. Surely not. We need Olivia with the Macca's link. Yeah. Oh, they're going for the 2. They are. They're going to make it a 10-point game here. Well, it forces 2 tries, I guess. It does force 2 tries into it rather than a converted try and then a converted try and then a 2-point field goal or a penalty. But Jermaine Asako, he will kick this one over. It's from right in front. And then in 30 minutes time, we'll be live for the Rabbitohs versus the Tigers for the final game of today. And then tomorrow we'll be live as Eels take on the Dragons and the Titans take on the Cowboys. And we will have our big wheel spinner streams tomorrow as well. They will get the kick, and it is 20 points to 10 to the Dolphins. 10 minutes to go. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. 10 minutes to go. Seb, so I think they have it down on down KFC. Seems like that's where Daz catches all the games. That is where Daz catches the games, yes. That is where he is all the time. Still owes me a zinger box, but he still owes me it. Rabbitohs versus Sharks and Roosters. Rabbitohs, Raiders, Roosters, and Sharks. Oh, so it's Rabbitohs and Sharks, is it, over there in Perth? And Raiders, Roosters in Perth, is it? Daz catching strays, he's not even here. Bless him. Deserves it, but... I'm surprised they don't go for a short kick. You've got 10 minutes and you've got to score twice. I would have expected you to go for a short kickoff there. First tackle at the 13. And it'll be Kaneli Lemielu who'll bring it to... No, that'll be Finifuiaki, sorry. Who'll bring this ball to the 20. And now Max Platt to the 35 on third tackle. I don't want those people serving Macca's. They're the same people that F up my order. So Farnworth will be at the 40. Just don't get McDonald's in India, lads. Oh my gosh, they're going to get penalised again here, the Sharks. Oh no, they're going to say knock on here from the Dolphins. Oh damn, well you don't want that, Dolphins. I thought they were going to penalise the Sharks just then. I thought they were going to penalise the Sharks. Thank you. 8:41 to go here of the game. And it's going to be... Well, you can't challenge it now. You can't challenge it now. It's been well longer than 10 minutes. You can't challenge that. It's 10 minutes. You can't challenge after 10 seconds. That took him how long? That took him how long to challenge that? You asked him if he wanted to challenge it 15, 20 seconds deep. Oh, he's holding on to him, to be fair. He is holding on to him. Wait, they might just be saying this is a successful challenge. But they're looking at the hand on Blake Brayley. There's no ball plan action. They're going to say it's a genuine play the ball, so the captain's challenge is successful. So it's just going to be Dolphins ball here at the 42. And it's actually a penalty because of Blake Brayley grabbing onto him. Brayley was laying all over that. Yeah, they said it was ball play. So it's a good challenge there from the Dolphins, and that's what we expected originally. I did expect that originally, but instead, the referee thought otherwise, and luckily the Dolphins challenged it, even though they shouldn't have been able to challenge it because the referee gave them about 20 seconds to decide whether they wanted to challenge it or not when you're only allowed 10 seconds. I swear they took that 10-second rule out and just didn't tell anyone. I agree with you. I agree. So they'll go to the right, and Jake Everett will be taking out the 24. Cortez says, who do you got for the next game? I've gone with the Rabbitohs, but honestly, don't take my tipping advice right now. My tips have been absolutely awful. I'm pretty confident the Rabbitohs win, but like most people's tips have been awful, but my tips this round have definitely been awful. 4 tackle for the Dolphins. They're going to be 10 metres away from the line. Haven't anyone else? You asked me without watching the game why the Sharks lost, and I would have a pretty good idea why. Yep. Out to the left, Hamiso. Hamiso will be 10 metres away on fit tackle. 7.5 minutes left. And Nikorima. They give it out to Dolphins here. Cobbo. Cobbo throws the ball back inside. 10 metres out. Fit tackle. They give it across. There should be a try here. No. Good defense there from Adam Vanille-Blake. Sharks were all over the shop, but that was good defense from Adam Vanille-Blake. I tried to be defensive last week and it probably was too biased, but here today this has been appalling from us at home, only scoring 10 versus a weak defensive side, but time still. I will say the Dolphins have been better defensively today, but the Sharks, there's been a lot more problems than just that. Like, this isn't against a bad defensive side. They've shown good defense at least the last 2 weeks, and they've actually been pretty solid here today, the Dolphins, but the Sharks have been really poor. They've been really disappointing, and it's just giving us every sense of idea of why we have our doubts about Cronulla long term. That's why we have our doubts about them as a team, because they just can't get over the hurdle. Nicho Hines, he goes out to the right, and then it's going to be Jesse Ramian. You need to take some risks here, lads. You need to take some risks. 4 tackle at 25. 4 tackle at the 25. Lockie never expected anything from the Sharks. Great point. Thomas Hazleton, he'll get the ball to the 30 on fit tackle. What a really disappointing last couple of weeks for Cronulla after, getting some confidence about them. Candy gives it off, and that's going to be a knock on here from the Dolphins. It's going to be they'll let this play through. Averillo was going to score. They're going to check to see if this is a knock-on off of the Dolphins here, which I think there is. So Averillo sprints away and scores, but just wait to see how this ball gets to him. Dolphins, whilst being okay, Sharks honestly beat themselves today. Dolphins have been okay. They've been solid enough. They've not been extraordinary, but they've been solid enough. Sharks have been really awful. Really not awful. Like, they're not like a Knights of last year or a Tigers of the 3 years. They're not looking like bad like that, but they're just looking very beyond mediocre. I feel like it has to be touched there from the Dolphins. There's no way that's going to be. There's no way that doesn't touch a Dolphin unless this would be the weirdest thing ever. Oh, no, actually, no, it doesn't. It's just a really stupid, really weird. Because Kale Iro, as he's getting tackled, I don't think that touches a Dolphin. I think this is a try. I think that's just a try. The pass has just been lifted. As he's trying to get the ball out to the wing, he's been, spun in the tackle, and then the ball's gone up. Yeah, it's a try confirmed. It's a try confirmed. So 24-10. Dolphins going to win this game. And Sharkies, you are in pain, son. You are in pain. The Sharkies not looking at goods. Jake Averillo with the double, and it's 24-10 with 4.5 minutes to go here to game. A lot of pundits will now think the Dolphins are a legit threat. Is this a good enough game for the Dolphins to suggest or not? no, but yes, but no. The Dolphins will be inconsistent this year. Averillo somehow always scores random tries like this, I swear. Brighton says all she wrote. That is all she wrote. Fraud alert already, I reckon. It's a great shout, but they're gonna probably drop out of this ladder tomorrow. You won't. Well, tonight you probably won't see him. They will get the kick. It's 26-10 to the Dolphins with 4 minutes 22 to go here. So tonight, they're down by 16 here. The Dolphins will go above them. So the Sharkies will drop down to 8th, and then if the Rabbitohs beat the Tigers, then the Sharks will go into 9th, and they'll be off this ladder. If they stay on this, if you can see them in the top 8 by the end of the weekend, I'm going to put them on fraud alert. But then again, are they frauds? Because people have had their hesitancy since pre-season about this Sharks team. Battle of Brizzy will be interesting next week. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Dolphins vs Broncos next week up in Brisbane. Sharks at the 50. And now that will be a short kick, and that's going to go straight to the Dolphins. So unimpressive, Sharks. Just so bland. They're just such a bland team. You've got no X factor. Second tackle now at the 45. 4 minutes left here. 20 minutes until we start that Tigers Rabbitohs. But again, whilst we criticise the Sharks, I will say that the Dolphins have been earning of their win. It's not been incredible, but they've been very earning of their win. This is a much... Oh, someone comes away here. He's going to score again. Oh, dude, Sharks. Oh, my gosh. Oh, dude, Sharks. Oh, this is embarrassing now, man. This is embarrassing now, Cronulla. 30 points to 10 to the Dolphins with a kick to come. This is embarrassing stuff here for Cronulla now. You go from losing 26-6 to the Panthers last week to losing 32-10 at home to the Dolphins if they get the kick. Does he keep his legs inbound here? Oh, it's close. I think he's fine. But it's very close. I think it's close, but I do think he stays in just he gets his ball down just in beforehand. Good work there from Cubbo. There is still a bit of speed about him, despite the fact that he does look unfit. Here we go. This is... I think he is safe. Yeah, try confirmed. They are going to say try confirmed there for Selwyn Cubbo. So it is going to be 30-10 with a kick to come. 30-10 with a kick to come. Dolphins and Bronx upset wins. Maybe Tigers have a crack next. I've got Rabbits, but we'll see with the Tigers. We will see. With 3 minutes to go here of this game. Sharks are going to be looking like they're going to be a really boring team to watch this year, man. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, it was very close. We're going to quickly have a look at my Supercoach team. I don't think I had anyone play. I have someone cover on my bench. I'm not playing him though, so he would have at least got some points, but not that I get to use them. Cover's still got 56. You take that. What did Nico get? Nico ended up getting about 80. Pretty good score. And it makes it worse that it's at home. Sharks normally decent at Shark Park. Yeah, especially on a Saturday as well. And Isako will curl that one in. That's a great kick from Isako. And it's 32 points to 10. This is embarrassing Sharkies now. This is embarrassing Cronulla. Fitzgibbon has to be under the pump now. Well, I was saying last year, Logan, that Craig Fitzgibbon... But then again, people don't give the criticism to Trent Robinson, and he deserves criticism at the moment. And same thing kind of goes for Craig Fitzgibbon, where he flies under the radar a lot. He really does fly under the radar. Like, long-term in the season, they've been finishing up high. But also, if you watch the season, you know they're not really a chance to win the grand final in a lot of ways. And they have a lot of bad results like this where they just look really poor and really underwhelming. And for some reason, he just kind of hides under the radar. You know, everyone always jumps down the throat of, teams like the Cowboys and the Titans and the Knights. And even, Seabold's not copping as much criticism as he should. Like, Seabold should have should be copying criticism since he was signed. But people don't, like, general fans will, but, like, the media doesn't bring it up at all, really. Robbo will always fly under with his coaching history. Can't say the same about Craig. Well, why would you criticise Craig? At the end of the day, he's been in 2 grand finals in a row. Won multiple premierships. What are you criticising about Craig? Oh, the Dolphins are away again at the 50. Oh, this is embarrassing, Cronulla. This is embarrassing. Jermaine Sarko's at the 35, at the 30. Fit tackle now 25 metres away. Madge's copping more than Seabold. Yeah, exactly right. Todd Payton cops it at the very least. Oh, Craig Fitz here. Okay, yeah. And that's a knock on there from the Sharks. Oh, this is horrific to watch, Cronulla. This is horrific to watch. And what you play? Who do you play next week, Sharks? Who do you play next week in round 4? You play the Raiders in Canberra. You're in trouble, man. You're in trouble because you have a tough run coming up. I remember talking about it in the pre-game. So the Sharks have the Raiders in Canberra next week, then the Warriors at home, and then Roosters in Perth before the bye. It's not an easy next 3 games. So Dolphins are going to be 10 minutes out with 40 seconds to go here. So why do I think this team will ever improve to the next level? Seriously. That's the thing that I've been saying to you, that I was trying to tell you earlier. Oh, they're going to score again. Oh my gosh, Sharks. Oh, dude, Cronulla, this has been embarrassing. The Dolphins will score, and it's 36-10 when the kid comes. It's about to be 38-10. They're about to get 38 put past them at home. This game was close, and then it's just blown apart late. Sharks, this is bad. This is bad. There's nothing that you can defend from this. Tell me a single positive you take from this game from a Sharks fan perspective. Tell me one single positive. I would love someone to give me one single positive you take from the Sharks. The Dolphins have done everything they need to do. They deserve this win. They've been clearly the better team. Have they been incredible for 70 minutes? No, but the last 10 minutes they've been unbelievable. Sharks have just completely fallen off the wagon. The Dolphins deserve every part of this win. They have been a better team. But also the Sharks have just looked pathetic. Like, pathetic. Okay, Skip Fraud put scammers there. Mate, massive frauds. Massive frauds are Cronulla. Massive frauds. But again, if the Rabbitohs win tonight, they're off that table. Even as a Titans fan, I can say this is horrible. Yeah. Just because you're a fan of a club that struggles does not mean that you can't say that another club is struggling. Fans of clubs will usually defend their team by saying, oh, but you're a Titans fan. It's like, yeah, okay, my team's shit, but I can still say that your team's not looking great either. You know, if anything, we are the professionals of knowing what a shit team looks like. So you should take our advice when you're looking poor. And right now, the Sharks are looking poor. So that's the final score there, 38 points to 10. 38 points to 10 to the Dolphins. It's a good win there for the Dolphins. For Cronulla, it is just an absolutely nightmare result. Nightmare. You have had 26 and then 38 put past you in 2 consecutive weeks after you scored 50. And that's why you can't look at a game against the Titans and give a shit just because you won by 50 points against them. Because at the end of the day, it's the Titans. Who cares? You've then taken on, a Panthers team that looks unbelievable. You got smacked by them, and then you've taken on the Dolphins at home, who have looked really under-impressive in the first 2 games. But then you've made them look like world-beaters in this game here. The Sharks have looked so disappointing this season, man. So disappointing. Long way to go. It's only round 3, but with that loss, that is a what is that score? So 38 points to 10. That's a 28-point loss on their points differential. They're now -8. They are below the... they're out of the 8 now. The Sharks will go to 9th now. The Rabbitohs haven't even played, and the Sharks are actually below the Rabbitohs now. Luckily, that Manly were -21, so they need to lose by 42 or more, but it was close enough. So, yeah, they're -8. They're already in 9th, Cronulla. They're super lucky with the Broncos and Manly being -21 and -30. And then we'll see Raiders and the Sharks next week. But the Dolphins, they'll get +28, so they'll go to +22, I think it is, which will put them into 6th position above the Knights, and they're just dependent on if the Tigers lose by 6 points or more later on. Actually, no, because then the Rabbitohs probably jump above. Dependent. Yeah, we'll have to see how the score goes. But guys, that's going to be it here for this stream. Obviously, we'll see you on the next game. We will see you on the The next game for the Tigers versus the Rabbitohs, which is going to be an interesting one. We'll see. That will start in 10 minutes' time. So obviously, do me a favour, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here, and I will see you in 10 minutes' time for the next game. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.